The following programs were originally aired live, long before the advent of high fidelity, and they were recorded using a variety of means, from direct recording onto early audio tape and glass records, to simply placing the microphone of a wire recorder in front of the speakers of a radio playing the program. I hope, however, that any variance in audio quality will not take away from your pleasure in listening to these, some of the all-time favorite shows.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Next guest will give you the laughs, just don't ask him to lend you money. It's Jack Benny coming up next.
45 sold American.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, so round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT.
You said it.
Why, sure.
Yes, sir.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, so round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Always those words will mean much to you. For, of course, quality is always your first concern. Today, as always, Lucky Strike selects and buys the finer, the lighter, the naturally milder Lucky Strike tobaccos. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
If all it to American. The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Larry Stevens, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you a man whose name for years has been the epitome of show business. A man who went from Waukegan to vaudeville.
From vaudeville to radio.
From Broadway to pictures.
From pictures to Broadway.
And now, since he has no place else to go, would you please let him come into your home for just a half hour? Thank you. And here he is, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking. And, kid, you're absolutely right. I have been in show business a long time. Why, when I was playing the Palace Theater in New York, Nelson Eddy didn't even have the recipe for shortening bread. In fact, when I first started in show business, Charlie McCarthy was taking his physical to get into Sequoia. Why, I was in front of an audience...
Hey, wait a minute, Jackson. Don't overdo it. If you want to know something, I was in show business before you was.
What?
I was in front of an audience when I was 2 days old.
2 days old?
Bill, that's ridiculous.
Certainly. What could you do when you were 2 days old?
I don't know, but people kept paying admission to see me.
Oh, Bill.
Stop making up such nonsense, Bill.
I ain't making nothing up. I was a nincubaby baiter.
You were what?
Oh, I mean I was an incubator baby. Yes, sir, that was me. 2.5 pounds of solid personality.
Oh, sure.
Say, Phil, I've often wondered about those incubators. Must have been nice and warm in a glass case with a little gas light burning underneath.
Nah, first I was hot, then I was cold, then I was hot, then I was cold.
Well, I'm a sucker for asking this, but why were you hot and cold and hot and cold?
His father kept blowing out the flame, and his mother kept lighting it.
Mary, don't be ridiculous.
That's exactly what happened.
Phil, you admit that your father kept blowing out the flame and your mother kept lighting it?
Yes, and it was a lucky thing I could reach up to that little glass door.
Why?
Who do you think kept handing my mother the matches?
Now, wait a minute, Phil. You were 2 days old in an incubator. Where in the world did you get the matches?
The day I was born.
What?
When the doctor grabbed me by the feet and held me up, I stole them out of his vest pocket.
Oh.
And he must have seen me do it because he gave me an awful whack.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Phil, you were just born. How can you remember what happened then?
I wrote it in my diary.
Well, that's the payoff. Phil, you can't even write now. How could you write when you were 2 days old?
Maybe he dictated it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Barry, did you ever hear such silly talk? Phil was just born and already he was dictating.
I'll bet 8 to 5 he had the stenographer on his lap. Eh, Phil?
That's exactly what happened. Phil, you don't have to invent a fantastic story just to make it sound like you've been in show business longer than I have.
Maybe he was, Jack.
No, that's impossible. I was in show business before anybody. Why, I was on the stage before Monty Woolley had a beard.
Before Monty Woolley had a beard?
Yes. Why, when I was a big hit at the Palace, Woolley was still standing in front of a mirror, rubbing his chin and singing, come out, wherever you are. I'm telling you, kids, I've been in show business longer than anybody.
Oh, yeah? How about C. Aubrey Smith?
You mean little Aubrey? Why, he was only a kid when I was starting out in it. Come in.
Mr. Benny?
Yes?
I'm from Esquire magazine. We printed a story about you and have all the information in our files except one thing.
What would you like to know?
Your age, please.
36.
But, well, okay.
Now, where were we?
Well, you were informing us that you were a thespian in the legitimate drama prior to the inauguration of the cinema.
Phil, did that come out of you?
Yes, and boy, am I glad to get rid of it.
Well, I don't blame you. Now, let's forget show business and find out
Hello,
if we can...
Mr. Benny.
Oh, hello, Larry. Say, you got here just in time for your song. What are you going to sing?
Well, I got a letter from a friend of mine in the Navy requesting me to sing I'm Making Believe.
A friend of yours in the Navy? Who is he?
Dennis Day.
Oh, Dennis.
A letter from Dennis?
Would you like to read it, Miss Livingston?
Why, Larry, I don't think I should read your mail.
Oh, that's all right. There's nothing about girls in it.
Go ahead, read it, Mary.
Yeah, we haven't heard from Dennis in weeks. What's he got to say?
Well, here it is. Dear Larry, I heard you sing on the last 4 broadcasts, and I think you have a swell voice.
Well, isn't that nice?
I also heard that you're making $22.50 a week, which is a very good salary to start with.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Benny will give you a raise almost every year, but it will help to have your mother come down and remind him. Especially if she's as big as my mother. However, Larry, when you...
What are you laughing at?
When you reach $35 a week, there's no use reminding Mr. Benny anymore because nobody's mother can help you then.
Dennis always was a card, wasn't he?
Yeah. Best wishes always, Dennis Day. P.S. By the way, Larry, I'd appreciate it very much if on next Sunday's broadcast you'd sing I'm Making Believe.
That's the part I told you about.
Yes, I know. Go right ahead and sing it for him, kid. I wonder why Dennis never requests me to play my violin. I can't understand.
I'm making believe that you're in my arms, though I know you're so far away. Making believe I'm talking to you. Wish you could hear what I say. And here in the gloom of my lonely room, we're dancing as we used to do. Making believe is just another way of dreaming, so till my dreams come true, I'll whisper good night, turn out the light and kiss my pillow, making believe my dreams come true. I'll whisper good night, turn out the light and kiss my pillow, making believe it's you.
Yes, sir. That was I'm Making Believe, sung by Larry Stevens, and Larry, that was swell. Keep it up, kid, and some of these days you, too, will be making $35 a week, just like Dennis Day did.
Gee, if Dennis made $35 a week for a whole year, he must have saved a lot of money.
Well, he should have, Larry, but you see, Dennis was somewhat of a spendthrift. And he threw most of his salary away on luxuries like
Like bread and butter.
Mary, you know what I mean. Dennis could have saved a lot of money if he didn't have that root beer float habit. Anyway, Larry, come in. Yes?
Mr. Benny, I'd like to try it again.
Again?
I'm from Esquire magazine. We printed a story about you and have all the information in our files except one thing.
Well, what would you like to know?
Your age, please.
I told you I'm 36.
Look, Mr. Benny, this information isn't going to be printed. It's only for our private files.
I don't care what it is for. I'm 36.
But, well, okay.
What a persistent guy. I mean, why doesn't he believe that I'm 36?
Maybe he was at breakfast at Sardi's the day you won the orchid.
No, if he'd have been there, I'd have seen him. Now, as I was saying, Larry.
Yes, Mr. Benny?
Larry, as the years go by, you'll have your ups and downs. Sometimes it'll be easy, other times it'll be hard. But no matter what happens, just remember those immortal words of John Paul Jones. Don't give up the ship. And now, ladies and gentlemen.
Jack, I'm not even going to argue with you today.
Well, Don, I'm glad you finally see it my way. And now, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't see it your way at all. It was Captain James Lawrence who said, don't give up the ship, but I just don't want to argue about it.
Well, neither do I, but it was John Paul Jones. For your information, Don, Captain James Lawrence said, go west, young man, go west. So there.
What are you talking about? It was Horace Greeley who said that.
Horace Greeley?
Yes, Phil.
Well, how could he say it? Horace Greeley's a statue in Westlake Park.
Phil, I'm better off if you're on Don's side. Now, Larry, you forget everything that was said and listen to me.
Yes, Mr. Benny.
As I told you before, and even though you may have your ups and downs, always remember those immortal words of John Paul Jones. Don't go west in a ship. I mean, don't give up the west. I mean, the ship. Don't give up the ship.
Which was said by Captain James Lawrence.
Now, Don Wilson, if you say that once more, there's going to be trouble.
It was Captain James Lawrence.
Well, you asked for it. Hold my coat, Mary.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to put it on. I'm going home. If Don Wilson knows so much, let him run the program himself. Goodbye.
Jack, come back here.
I'm going home, and that settles it. Good thing I held myself back when I did. If I'd hit Wilson, I'd have knocked him cold. What if he does outweigh me? I can handle myself in a fight. They don't call me Old Blood and Guts Benny for nothing, you know. I know when I'm right, and when I'm right, I fight. Say, that sounds like a good motto. I know when I'm right, and when I'm right, I fight. Gee, I wonder if that'll ever become as famous as Don't Give Up the Ship. It could, you know. Imagine years from now, people might be saying, remember those immortal words of Jack Benny. I know when I'm right. And when I'm right, I fight. Say, that's pretty good. Ya-da-da-da-dum, da-dee-da-dum, da-dum, dum-dee-da-da-dum. Gee, it's a nice day. But Sunday is always nice. People are all dressed up and coming home from Hello, Reverend.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Yep, Sunday's the nicest day in the week. So calm and peaceful and... Good afternoon, Father. Oh, pardon me. Hello, Bing. Maybe I should have asked him if he was going my way. I like him, you know, I do. Hello, Rochester.
Oh, hello, boss. Say, you're home early.
I know. I left before the program was over.
Well, I always thought as long as there was one person left in the audience, you'd stay right on out there.
That's silly. Whatever gave you that idea?
Remember in St. Louis when that man in the front row was swatting flies and you thought he was applauding?
Well, what about it?
If they hadn't dragged you off the stage, you'd have starved to death.
What are you talking about? I was going off anyway, even if they hadn't started the picture.
But, boss, I can't get over you leaving in the middle of your program. Isn't that taking an awful chance?
What do you mean, chance?
Well, if LSMFT finds out you were AWOL, you'll be glad you saved all those boxes of JELLO.
Well, I'm not going to worry about it now. I'll just sit down and be comfortable. Ah, that feels good. Pull off my shoes, will you, Rochester?
Sure, boss. There. Now, give me your other foot. Wiggle your toes, boss. There's a dime missing.
I know. I went to a movie. Now, I wish you'd go out and fix me something, will you? I feel like I need something to pep me up.
Okay, I know just the thing. I'll fix you a super zombie.
A super zombie? What's it made of?
I can't tell you the recipe. It's a military secret.
A military secret?
Yeah, that's the stuff they use in flamethrowers.
Oh, well, I don't want anything like that. Let's fix me some tea and toast. That's
Yes,
all.
sir.
I'll answer the door. Yes?
I'm from Esquire magazine. We printed a story about
I know. Listen.
Well, look, Mr. Benny, now that you're in the privacy of your own home and away from those microphones, tell me, just how old are you?
I told you I'm 36.
Look, Mr. Benny, I've got a job to do, and I've got to go back to my editor with the facts. The facts.
Well, I'm trying
When I show him this, he'll never believe me. I'll be the laughing stock of the office. I don't care about myself, but I've got a wife and 2 children.
Now, look, Bud, I'm trying to tell you the truth.
Kick me, beat me, but tell me the truth. Think of me. Think of my wife and kids. Tell me the truth. That's all I want, the truth. The truth, Mr. Benny. How old are you?
Well, if it'll save your job, I'll tell you the truth. I'm 37.
37?
Yes.
Well, I'll try it. I'll try it. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. Maybe they'll believe me. I hope
not. What an emotional young man.
Oh, boss, I've got your tea and toast in here.
I'm coming, Rochester. And turn on the radio. I might as well have a little music while I'm eating.
Do you want me to do a fan dance?
No, just the music will be enough. Turn it on, will you, Rochester? Hey, that's a nice band. I wish Phil Harris could have heard that. See what else is on the radio, will you, Rochester?
Okay.
Will Harold live? Will Hilda come back to her husband? Will the lost baby be found? Will the bank discover that George has absconded with the money? Will the doctor arrive in time to save Mildred's life? Will Mervyn commit suicide because Cynthia has jilted him? Tune in again tomorrow to hear another cheerful chapter of Happiness House.
I didn't know that Cynthia jilted Mervyn.
You missed yesterday's cheerful chapter, boss.
Oh, yes, darn it. Give me something else, Rochester.
Okay.
Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in the last minute of play in the big game between the University of California at Los Angeles and the Louisiana State Men's Fraternity Team.
Louisiana State Men's Fraternity Team?
And right now the score is 12 for UCLA and 19 for LSMFT.
Oh, them.
I wish all you folks could be out here this afternoon. What a crowd. You should see this stadium. It's so round, so firm, so fully packed.
Boy, that place must be jammed.
And now let's hear from the cheering section. LSMFT, LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Fine, fine, fine. It's 33.
They must be playing in Goldsboro, North Carolina.
And there goes the gun ending the game.
Well, LSMFT won again. Get another station, Rochester.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America. This is Walter Winchell doing a special broadcast for the 6th War Loan.
Hey, listen, Rochester. That's Walter Winchell.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 6th time we are having a war bond drive, but the war is an expensive proposition. There is no way to economize. There are no bargain basements in war, no cut-rate sales. Everything must be paid for in cash and in blood. And you are only asked to put up the cash. I know you bought bonds during the other drives, but so did everyone else. Your bond is just as important as your neighbor's. There are no slackers on a battlefield, so let's have none here. Remember, do your share. This is no time to pass the buck unless you pass it across the counter for a war bond.
Gee, Rochester, isn't he sensational?
He sure is, boss.
Yes, sir.
And now for some news the time will allow. New Delhi, India. Admiral Mountbatten has exceeded all expectations in the Battle of Burma. He has captured a 100-mile stretch of railroad north of Mandalay. His commandos are striking south of the Irrawaddy.
Gosh, that guy Winchell knows everything.
And here's one from the Far East. The B-29s are changing the name of Tokyo Harbor to Bombay.
What a sense of humor.
Hollywood, California. Ladies and gentlemen, the whole movie town is talking about a certain radio comedian who lives in Beverly Hills, who tortures the violin and is tighter than Dorothy Lamour's sarong. This fugitive from the cornfield who wears a size 44 girdle is making a complete and utter fool of himself by insisting that it was John Paul Jones who said, "Don't give up the ship."
What?
Because of radio censorship and the laws of libel, I am not allowed to mention the name of this Waukegan wit who is making such a dope of himself, but his initials are J.B.
Rochester, did you hear what I heard? Did Winchell insinuate that I'm a jerk?
That's what he said. That's what the man said. He said.
Oh, he did, huh?
Although he has been corrected dozens of times, ladies and gentlemen, this blue-eyed boob will not admit that it was Captain James Lawrence who said those famous words.
Rochester, turn that off. Out of my way, Rochester. I'm going to see that guy Winchell right now. Hand me my hat, coat, and cane. My heavy cane.
Well, Rose, that finishes my special bond program.
Yes, Mr. Winchell, and you still have about an hour and a half before your regular Juergens broadcast.
Yeah, look. I'm going over the script again. You run out and get yourself a cup of coffee.
Where is he? Where is that? Oh, there you are, Winchell.
Why, Jack. Jack Benny. It's good to see you.
Don't give me that good to see you stuff. What is all that you said about me and John Paul Jones and don't give up the ship?
Now, wait a minute, Jack. Just a minute. All I said was that a certain Waukegan wit, who is stingy, tortures the violin, and wears a size 44 girdle, is making a jerk out of himself, and the initials are J.B.
Well, what makes you think I was talking about you? Well, for one thing, the initials J.B. But, Jack, I might have been talking about Joan Bennett. Joan Bennett doesn't wear a size 44 girdle. To think that you would do this to me, Walter, after all I've done for you. What did you ever do for me? Plenty, but not anymore. Yesterday was positively the last time I'll ever wash my toupee in Jergens. And another thing, Winchell. Now, Jack, that's no attitude today. Suppose I did mean you. I wouldn't have mentioned it if I didn't know the facts. Oh, so now you know everything. Who do you think you are, Luella Parsons? I know my rights, brother. Oh, Jack, calm down a little. Aren't you getting a little too excited about this? No, I'm not, because I believe in those famous immortal words. I know when I'm right. And when I'm right, I fight. Who said that? Jack Benny. Why don't you read your history? That's who said it. All right, Benny, I try to be patient with you, but now I can get tough, too. Just who do you think you are trying to change history by saying John Paul Jones said don't give up the ship, when any schoolboy knows it was Captain James Lawrence? Oh, yeah? Well, let me tell you something, Winchell. You're not going to... Pardon me, Jack. Certainly, Walter. Yeah? Winchell speaking. What? Your wife had a baby this morning? But how could she? You promised me it wouldn't happen until next week's program. Oh, never mind. It's too late to apologize now. Now, getting back to you, Benny, everybody on your program knows that you're wrong about John Paul Jones. But because you're the boss, you bully them and shove them around and make them take orders from you. Well, you can't do that to me. Oh, yeah? Well, let me tell you something, Winchell. You're not going to... Pardon me, Jack. Certainly, Walter. Yeah, Winchell speaking. Yes. Yes. But, Elliot, I told you can't keep a secret all week long. Oh, all right. Congratulations. Now, getting back to you, Benny. Why don't you admit it like a good sport instead of acting like an arrogant boob? It's guys like you with big mouths and little brains who think they know it all. Oh, yeah? Well, let me tell you something, Winchell. You're not going to stand there and... Wait a minute. How come that telephone never interrupts you? Now, listen, Winchell, if there's anything but the famous saying in Navy history, I might admit you're right. But I know Navy history. I was a sailor in the last war. But so was I. I was a sailor in the last war, too, and let me ask you something. Do you know anything about Captain James Lawrence? Well, That's what I thought. Now, shut up, and let me tell you something about him. James Lawrence was born in Burlington, New Jersey on October the 1st, 1781. He entered the Navy at the age of 17 and rose to the rank of lieutenant 4 years later. He fought on the Enterprise in 1804 during our war with Tripoli. We had a war with Tripoli? Stephen Decatur selected Lawrence as his first lieutenant. He commanded such ships as the Argus, the Vixen, and the Wasp. In 1813, commanding the Hornet, he distinguished himself by capturing the enemy ship, the Peacock. I know, but the Peacock... As a result, he was commissioned captain and received a gold medal from Congress. On June the 1st... I know, but what about Paul, John Paul Jones? Lawrence, commanding the Chesapeake, sailed to meet the enemy ship, the Shannon, about 30 miles away from Boston. Well, John Paul Jones was in Boston, The enemy crew was better trained, but that didn't stop the courageous and the confident Captain Lawrence. Well, John Paul Jones, was courageous. Just as good as Captain Lawrence. The Chesapeake lay helpless. With Captain Lawrence... What was Lawrence doing? As his men carried him below, he beseeched them to keep on fighting by saying... Don't give up the ship. Well, all right. Later, the same war cry was used by Captain Perry in the Battle of Lake Erie. But it was Captain James Lawrence who said it first. I know, but I don't care. I don't
care. Sold American.
Independent tobacco experts, auctioneers, buyers, and warehousemen present at the auctions now open in the South can see Lucky Strike consistently select and buy the finer, the lighter, the naturally milder Lucky Strike tobacco. And this fine Lucky Strike tobacco means real deep-down smoking enjoyment for you. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike.
The famous tobacco auctioneers heard on tonight's program are Mr. F.E. Boone of Lexington, Kentucky.
At 44, sold American.
Mr. L.A. Speed Riggs of Goldsboro, North Carolina.
$43, sold to the American.
This is Basil Rysdale speaking for the makers of Lucky Strike. LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT.
Yes, Lucky Strike means fine broadcasting company. KFI, Los Angeles.
Tales of espionage are coming at you with CounterSpy next.
The American Broadcasting Company presents CounterSpy. calling David Harding, CounterSpy. Washington calling David Harding, CounterSpy.
Harding, CounterSpy. Calling Washington. United States CounterSpies, especially appointed to investigate and combat the enemies of our country, both at home and abroad. These counter-spy reports to the American people are brought to you each Tuesday and Thursday. Tonight, Case of the Foolish Father.
Here's your regular table, Mr. Baker. You please sit down.
Yeah, sure, pal. I'll get some bread and rolls on this table. I haven't got all night. What's the good of my owning this joint if I can't
Sure,
get
Mr.
served?
Baker, sure.
Now, why hasn't the floor show started yet? What goes on here anyway?
Take it easy, Lefty. It's only 10:30.
Popo, you know I got that date with Hickman. Pal, I'll get going. Will you go tell the band leader, tell Charlie to start the floor show? I want to see that new dame. Put her on fresh.
Sure, Mr. Baker. Right away, Mr. Baker.
Oh, people take all year to do the simplest thing.
Your trouble is you're a hurrysome guy, Lefty. Take it easy.
Like you, Bobo, you fat monkey. I got a lot of things to do in my life. Why don't they start the show?
The show. What's so terrific about the show? A crummy comic and 6 tired chorus babes.
Selena.
Oh, the new snake dancer?
Uh-huh. I saw the photos when Charlie booked her. She dances in a filmy costume with a fake snake. Hold it.
Thank you, and good evening, folks. Good evening. It's a privilege to welcome you to the Green Grotto, Liberty City's snappiest recreation center. Tonight, we've got a special treat for you, and here it is.
That guy talks too long. The Dance of the Surfing Queen by Selena. Joe, the violet spotlight, please. Oompa, 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 music. Holy smoke, Bobo. Look at her.
Yeah. Why does she waste time with that snake?
Oh, Mother, get my asbestos suit. I'm going to a fire.
Excuse me, Mr. Pickles. You're all in body. You want a drink?
Shut up, fella. Leave me alone.
Sorry, sir.
Hey, Lefty, you know what time it is?
What a disheroo.
You'll be late for seeing Hickman.
Yeah, let him wait.
Lefty, everything hangs on that.
Look, Bobo, the minute she finishes, go back and tell her to wait for me in the dressing room. Don't let her leave, huh?
Okay.
I'll be back as soon as I finish with Hickman. Look at her, Bobo. I'll see you later.
Well, you're a little early, Lefty.
Oh, it's better than late, isn't it?
Yeah. Sit down.
Look, I'm in a hurry, Hickman.
Aren't you always? That's why I picked you, Lefty, as my right-hand man a year ago. And you've done all right, haven't you?
Not all right enough.
I don't get you, Lefty.
Things have to move faster. I got no time for them.
Impatience is foolish, my boy. Took me 20 years to work up to the head of the organization. Today I control every racket in Liberty City.
Uh-huh. None of them amount to beans except the numbers, and I want a bigger cut.
Greedy, aren't you?
Well, I take all the chances. The runners all know me, not you. I have the policy slips printed and distributed. It's worth more than 1/3.
I could get angry at you, Lefty. But I'm going to try persuasion first, because you're a good man. You know my basic idea. Run a racket like a respectable business. Build confidence among the men. A clear line of promotion for merit. You know you're going to take my place someday. You'll deserve it. Then you'll sit in this hideout office.
All very pretty, Hickman, but 100 years from now we'll be dead. I ain't got time to wait.
I won't give you a bigger cut. That's final.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got something even more final.
A gun. You fool, We all end up in the grave, Lefty. Why hurry to get there?
Selena will be back for the late show, midnight, with an even more daring dance.
Hey, Paolo. Yes, Mr. Folk. Hold the next course for a few minutes. I gotta go backstage and see Selena. Mr. Baker wants to talk to her when he gets back.
In their interpretation of Oink Oink, life down on the farm. Here we go.
Hello, honey. I'm Lefty Baker.
Yes, a funny little man named Bobo said you were coming.
I own this joint, you know.
Somebody has to own it. Why not you?
You know, you're terrific.
I'm supposed to be.
Tomorrow morning, your name goes up in lights outside the club.
Good.
I'm going to have 2 dressing rooms made into one and fixed up to knock your eye out.
Good.
I'm going to double your salary.
Good.
In exchange, no guys around you but me.
You move fast, don't you?
I think fast, talk fast, and act fast. I hate molasses. If you don't do, you oughta.
Let's see if you can listen as fast as you do everything else. I'm turning you down cold.
Oh, what's the matter?
I like everything about the setup except...
Except what? Come on.
The biggest mistake a girl like me can make is take on guys like you. There's no security in it.
All right, stop talking from left field. Tell me what else you want. You can have it.
Marriage. I thought that'd cool you out. Well, it's been nice knowing you, Lefty.
How long does it take to get married?
You need licenses and things. Wait 2 weeks. After that, maybe 5 minutes.
I'll get everything set tomorrow.
Are you on the level?
Where you staying?
Liberty City Arms Hotel.
All right, I'll pick you up there tomorrow morning at 11. We'll set everything. People get married in church, don't they?
Okay, Lefty. I'll take you up. You just got yourself engaged. On one condition.
All right, don't drag this out. I got an appointment on the other side of town in 10 minutes.
I've been taking care of my father for 4 years, since Mom died. You have to let him live with us.
Is that all? Sure. Oh, I may not get back here to see a second show, but I'll be at your hotel 11 tomorrow morning.
Well...
Attention all Washington CounterSpy personnel. This is David Harding's assistant, Harry Peters, speaking. Here's Mr. Harding.
8 days ago, C.J. Hickman, the crime boss of Liberty City, District 11, was found shot to death in his hideaway private office. According to the facts received here in CounterSpy Central Analysis, no clues to his murder have been found, though we have our suspicions. First result of the murder is the accession to gang leadership of George Baker, known in the underworld as Hurry Up Lefty. Second result is a grand jury investigation of criminal corruption in Liberty City, and CounterSpy aid has been officially requested by the City Council. From tonight on, my assistant Peters and I will be working out of temporary headquarters in Liberty City.
Get a load of this, honey. Private elevator to my penthouse apartment. I had it souped up fast.
Our penthouse apartment.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Well, we only been married 20 minutes. Let me catch my breath,
What's the matter? Things too fast for you?
Well, that's why I go for you, sweetheart. You're the fastest thing next to me I ever heard of. Well, top floor. Definitely. Like it?
How many rooms?
Oh, 5, 6, I forget. 3 baths, 2 terraces.
Rooms all as big as this one?
Oh, the kitchen's kind of small.
Servant?
Yeah, Bobo Falk, the little fat guy that's with me all the time. He's my right-hand man, personal stooge, and cook. Think you made a bum deal, sweetheart?
Put your arms around me, Lefty.
I heard you the first time, baby.
You always hear of dopes getting married fast, and they tell you it lasts a lifetime. Why shouldn't smarties like us have the same luck?
Well, me, I live for now. And I got you.
You sure have. Ooh, what's that? Beginning of the second round?
Somebody coming up in the elevator. Bobo, maybe.
Oh, Lefty. I forgot.
What? A husband someplace?
My pappy.
Who?
My father, don't you remember? He's going to live here, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. There's an extra bedroom and bath in the back you can have.
Oh, hiya, Pop. Come on in. Lefty, this is Pop. Pop, this is Lefty.
Hiya, Pop.
Hi. Oh, that elevator come up so fast I'm dizzy.
Oh, Pop, didn't you bring some bags or something?
Bags? Oh, I wasn't sure this was all on the level, so I checked my stuff at the depot. Any ale in the house, Elsie?
Ale? Well, I don't know. Oh, Pop drinks ale all day long, Lefty.
Well, there's everything out in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'll go find it. What'd you say your name is, Elsie?
Mrs. George Baker.
Used to know a linotype operator named Barker. No. Well, I'm awful thirsty. I'll go see about that ale. Call me when you want supper cooked, Elsie.
You bet, Pop.
Oh, what's the matter?
You ought to see your face.
Is that old Crumb really your old man?
Well, he and Mom always said so.
Yeah, but look at you and look at him. Yeah, the way he dresses. Sort of a cowboy felt hat, a shirt but no collar, and a gold collar button showing. Yeah. What's he mean, let him know when you want supper cooked?
He likes to cook. He'll insist on doing all the cooking.
Oh, great. Bobo will love that. Is that what he is, a cook? Short order?
No. Cooking's just for fun. He's a printing compositor. Has been ever since he got out of school. Say, maybe you can find him a job.
What's he need a job for? You just give him all the dough he wants.
No, it'll be better if he works. You can find him something, I bet you.
No. I got a little print shop in the cellar of the Green Grotto Club. Prints all the menus and stuff. Maybe you could take that over.
No, you're sweet, Lefty.
Yeah.
I mean it. I'm not going to do a thing but make you a real home here.
Oh, we got a home, baby. And what are you talking about, doing nothing else? You're going to go right on dancing at the Green Grotto. I want the whole world to know what I got, baby.
This Liberty City setup is trouble, Dave.
They all are, Peters, at first.
The worst is it looks easy. Here we've got a couple of hundred of the policy slips used by the racket, but no luck in tracing them.
You heard yet from all the paper companies?
Well, it narrowed down pretty fast to that jobber in Kansas City, Chief. He sold a carload lot of this paper 5 months ago to a printer in Independence, Missouri.
Yeah.
Now, that printer failed, and the paper was sold off at auction. No record of who bought it.
Yeah, but the chances are these policy slips are printed somewhere here in Liberty City.
Well, we've checked every printer, Dave, big and little. There are 27 all told, including the printing plant at the university outside the city. Not one has this particular typeface.
Vogue Bold, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. 8-point and 12-point. And it ought to be easy to trace. You can see that a lot of the characters are defaced.
Well, we can't sit here all night and stew about it, Peter. There's only one possible lead at the moment, the one turned up in our surveillance reports.
The father of Selena, the snake dancer.
Yes, Lefty Baker's father-in-law, Pop Wilbarger. He's a printer by trade. See what that leads to, Peters.
You're listening to the case of the foolish father on CounterSpy.
The American economic system has always preserved the basic freedoms of the individual. The freedom to work in the place of his choice, the freedom to bargain collectively, to contract his own affairs, to own property, start an enterprise, profit from his inventiveness and his investments. These freedoms are, in fact, basic to our economic system itself. Since 1910, we have more than doubled the output of each of us for every hour we work. In the same period, we have increased our supply of machine power 4.5 times. Since 1910, we have also increased our annual income. Yet in the same period, we have reduced our working time. Remember, our unrivaled production of goods and services goes hand in hand with the preservation of our basic freedoms. Our system may have its faults. We still have a lot to do to make it bring us all the things we want. But despite these faults, it has brought more benefits to more people than any other system. So at all times, work to protect and to strengthen our American economic system. And now, back to CounterSpy.
From the slot machines, Lefty, 16,481.20. Check. From the laundry concessions and linen service and all the hotels and restaurants, 6,791 cents. Check. Should be more. Those guys are slow. Yeah. Oh. Hey, ain't it time for us to go home?
I'll eat upstairs in the club tonight, Bobo. You too.
You got a fight with the missus already?
No, only can't go home to eat no more. It's Pop.
Oh.
He cooks, you know.
Yeah, I know. I know, all right. He run me out of the kitchen practically.
Yeah, he loves to cook, he says, and he cooks dinner every night. Only 3 times a week he cooks the same thing, and it gets me.
The same thing?
Yeah, shepherd's pie.
For dessert? So skip dessert?
No, shepherd's pie is no dessert. It's the main thing when you have it. It's got meat, vegetables, and kind of a crust on top.
Yeah? Hey, that could be good.
Yeah, once a year maybe, but not 3 times a week. Yeah, I hope giving that old moocher a job running our printing plant down here to keep him out of the house, but no. Well, let's go up and get a steak, huh?
Yeah. Oh, why don't you throw him out?
I promised the baby. Come on, let's not hang around then. No, just a second. Yeah.
Hello, sweetie.
Oh, baby. How are you?
Sweetie, if you hurry, we can have something to eat together.
Well, honey, I told you I can't stand any more of that
I know. But Pop's not fixing dinner tonight. He's going out to meet a new pal of his.
Huh? He's got a pal?
Be glad, sweetie. How fast can you get here?
You know me, baby.
Well, here I go, Dave. I'll check with you later at the office by phone.
What are you calling yourself, by the way?
Harry Peterson. Occupation printer's helper. Union card and all.
Where are you meeting Pop Wilbarger?
In Sampson's Delicatessen for a sandwich and some ale. When he got talking the other day there, he said he might have a job for me. Well, maybe he was only talking, but we'll see. Well, Pops, nice little print shop you got here.
Oh, not bad, not bad.
Well, seeing as you've just hired me to help you, how about let's get going, hmm?
Will you look at this?
A menu for the Green Grotto upstairs. Some prices, huh?
This face type I'm talking about. Caslon, old style. Why, we used to use that on the Tacoma Star News when I was a boy.
Yeah, it does look old-fashioned.
I'm going to change it.
To what? What other types you got here, Pop?
Some fella's been running the shop. Pretty careless. I don't know what there is. Let's look.
You bet. Got some cases here. All handset stuff.
Yeah. Looks like old monotype stuff. Cheltenham.
Well, that's no good for smart menus, Pop. Cheltenham's corny.
Yep. Well, let's keep looking.
A lot of old stuff ought to be melded up.
How you on hand setting, Peterson? Ever do any?
Plenty. I can handle a Ludlow, too. No linotype, though.
My eyes, I'm not so young anymore. Well, maybe you'll reset this menu if we can find a decent typeface.
Hey, Pop.
What?
Here's a typeface that looks possible.
What?
It's Vogue Bold, 8-point and 12-point. It looks okay, huh, Pop?
Vogue. In good shape, is it? No, eyes,
No reason why it shouldn't be in good shape, is there? And say...
Yeah?
Back here in the dark. There must be at least 2 tons of paper. Can we use that?
Lefty, he owns all this. He said stick to the regular menu paper, the heavy stuff.
Well, maybe so, Pop, but we want to do a real smart job for the nightclub, don't we? And Lefty will be happy when he sees it.
Yeah.
So give me that menu copy and I'll go to work. These will be the most surprising menus Lefty ever saw.
Sweetie, I have to admit it. I like Bobo's cooking better than Pop's.
He's a character, your old man.
Oh, I don't know.
That gold collar button of his always sitting in the kitchen slopping up ale.
Yeah, I'll tell you a secret.
Hmm?
He says his eyes are getting weak. Actually, he's boozy half the time and he can't see straight.
I'll let the old kink have some fun.
You're different tonight, Lefty.
Oh, me? Never.
You ate your food as if you had a little time for it. And you're sitting still. You're not looking at your wristwatch every 2 minutes.
Well, I'm a happy guy, that's why. And you did it, baby.
In a month? I'll go on.
No, honest, you make me forget everything else.
Lefty, this grand jury investigation going on with CounterSpy. Are they after you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then...
Now, don't you worry your little sconce about it, huh?
Honest?
What's the matter? You worried you wind up broke?
I'm worried about you, sweetie.
All right, then you forget it. I'm too fast for anybody.
Oh.
What's the matter?
Look at the time. I'm due at the club for the first show.
Oh, okay, baby. You get your duds. Bobo and I'll be waiting for you downstairs in the car. I think I'll take in the show tonight.
You take it in every night.
Well, I gotta keep an eye on my good luck job. Come on, you better hustle.
Dave. Hello, Dave.
Yes, Peters, what's up?
I can't explain now. I just ducked out of the print shop to a phone booth. Can you come to the Green Grotto for dinner?
Of course. You expect something?
I've taken a wild chance, and it may lead to a blow-off. Now, when you get there, keep your eyes on Lefty Baker, especially when he sees the newly printed menu.
Good evening, folks. Good evening, and welcome to the Green Grotto and another evening of fun and frivol in Liberty City's gayest gay spot. Yes, sirree. Well, we start off our all-star floor show with a little girl who's captured every heart in the city, the beautiful, exotic charmer in her dance of the Serpent Queen, Salina!
That's all I gotta say, Bobo. Wow. Yeah. Mine. All mine. Yeah.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Baker. Dinner as usual?
No hurry tonight, Paulo.
Okay, Mr. Baker. I leave 2 menus with you.
Okay, Paulo. Look at it, Bobo. It's murder. Plain murder. I'll say it is. Lefty. Look at this menu. Yeah, pipe down, will you? I'm not ready to order.
Lefty, look at this menu.
Yeah, so?
So you like the paper it's printed on?
Yeah, sure, it's the same as...
Hey. And how do you like the type it's printed with?
Oh, for the love of it. Well, come over the old sauce.
If nothing has yet, something better.
Yeah, maybe he's down in a print shop. You go keep Selena company till I get back. I'm going down and take real good care of Pop.
Here you are, Pop. I brought back some more ale.
That's the stuff. Sit down, boy. Nothing I like better than sitting around a print shop, gassing.
Here's yours.
Ah, thanks. Now, reminds me of one of Jim Bates out in the old Mountain Valley Press. Oh, yeah. He could set more type and drink more ale than any journeyman printer in the country. Yes, sir, and never pie a line or spill a drop. It's funny, I don't know why I'm yawning. Nerves, I guess.
Could be.
Peterson, you like shepherd pie?
I never had any, I don't think, Pop.
Yes, sir. He could drink more ale and set more type than any printer in the country. Jim Bates could. Has hunks of meat in it, and any kind of meat. What if he got lying around?
Shepherd's pie.
And he'd never pie a line, no, sir. Of course, potatoes and vegetables, anything that's lying around. Different every time, see? Only always the same. I'll make you some.
Here's some more ale, Pop.
Hey, Pop. Hey, Pop, did you print up these new... Who are you, Jack?
Peterson's the name, Mr. Baker. Mr. Wilbarger's helper.
Helper since when?
Since tonight, Mr. Baker. Did we do anything wrong?
Somebody did. I told this old goat not to touch anything in the shop but what he needed for menus and table cards. He used the wrong paper and the wrong type.
Well, I know they're the same as the policy slips printed down there.
Policy slips? What do you know about policy slips? Come on, spill it, wise guy. What's your right?
I just wanted you and me to have a talk.
We're having it with a gun in my hand, so talk fast.
Well, like you say, Mr. Baker, I've got an angle. I want to tie up with a smart guy like you. You wouldn't want me unless I did something smart, so I can't pop into hiring me.
You're not smart after all, Peterson, because you did something that can wipe out my whole racket. That's why you and the old South here want to get it.
Lefty.
What? Selena, for the love of Mike.
She got the whole story out of me, Lefty.
What are you going to do to Pop? You were going to kill him, weren't you?
Oh, gee, honey.
Yes, he was, Selena.
Lefty, you crummy crumb.
Ah, honey, I took the old bum on because you asked me. That don't give him the right to louse up my whole racket. Bobo, take her out of here.
Yes, sure, Lefty.
Will you touch me and I'll claw you wide open?
Hey, geez, Lefty.
Go on, you sap. You're scared of a dame.
Let's see you do it, Lefty. Why don't you give her what you gave your old boss, Hickman?
Shut up.
Lefty, I draw the line at murder. Pop and me are getting out of here. Come on, Pop, wake up. This is no place for us. Oh!
All right, everybody stand where they are. That shot went into the floor just as a warning. Now, everybody...
Grab his gun, Peters. I've got him covered.
Got it, Chief. Got some handcuffs for Lefty.
Hey, well, what are you guys, cops or what?
United States CounterSpy. You and your boss are both under arrest on suspicion of murder.
Murder? I didn't kill Hickman. He done it. Lefty done it.
Shut up, you crummy heel.
We'll take them all in, Peters.
Hold everything, boys.
Yes, miss. What is it?
I had no part in Lefty's racket. I was just looking for a roof over me and Pop. And we had it for a while. All I want now is plenty of publicity. I think I'll look pretty good on page 1.
It's a nice wife you got, Lefty.
Drop dead.
Come on, Pop. Hey, Pop. Ollie, hit the deck.
Well, sir, anytime you want shepherd's pot.
Look, get me a doctor, will you? My shoulder's bleeding.
You bet, Lefty, a doctor and the penitentiary, the way you like everything, on the double.
Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday, same time, same station, to CounterSpy. Listen on Thursday for the exciting case of the Coral Key.
Suddenly, in Europe, inferior counterfeit United States money appeared, a plot to damage confidence in the dollar. But the solution lay not in Europe, but off the Keys of Florida, in a strange murder and an even stranger fishing trip. Listen on Thursday to Case of the Coral Key on CounterSpy. Tonight's CounterSpy program originated in New York, was directed by Leonard L. Bass, dramatized by Paul Milton, and featured Don McLaughlin and Mandel Kramer.
CounterSpy is a Phillips H. Lord production. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Hey, man, how about we check in with Fibber, Magee, and Molly next? That sounds good to me.
The Pet Milk Program with Fibber, Magee, and Molly. The first evaporated milk, Pet Milk, presents Fibber, Magee, and Molly with Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, John McIntyre, Bud Steffen, Myra Marsh, Dick Ryan, and me, Harlow Wilcox. The show is written by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie and directed by Max Hutto with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. Did you know that Pet evaporated milk can actually help to prevent tooth decay? Well, that's a fact. It is now recognized by the Council on Foods and Nutrition of the American Medical Association that a complete diet, which includes the right amount of 400-unit vitamin D milk, will help to prevent or to stop tooth decay. Now, all Pet milk is fortified with 400 units of pure crystalline vitamin D per pint. That means when you mix Pet milk with an equal amount of water, you're getting 400 units of vitamin D per quart of rich whole milk. Now, it's very easy to give your youngsters this nourishing, vitamin-rich milk in milk drinks, in puddings, in other favorite dishes. So get a supply of Pet milk tomorrow at your grocer's. And remember, Pet milk, even with extra vitamin D, costs less generally than any other form of milk. The question, where do you think you're going, should logically be asked of a sinner by a clergyman. But it's usually asked of a citizen by a cop. Like right now, with Fibber, Magee, and Molly.
All right, sir. Where do you think you're going?
What do you mean, where do I think I'm going? If it's any of your business, we're cutting across this lawn here.
To the City Hall, officer.
Yeah, if you want to come with us, I'll give you a bandage for your sore nose.
My nose is not sore,
Well,
sir.
it's going to be if you don't keep it out of my business. Come on, Molly, we can't...
Just a minute, sir. You can't cut across the City Hall lawn. Don't you see the sign, keep off the grass?
We aren't walking on the grass. We're walking on the snow.
There is grass under the snow, madam.
Don't give us that leader, Krantz Buster. Under this snow, the grass is dead, and dead grass ain't grass. It's hay. Show me a sign that says, keep off the hay. Come on, Molly, let's get on.
Just a moment, sir. If you insist on walking across this lawn, I shall be forced to issue a citation.
Oh, you shall, will you? By George, I got my rights, and I ain't going to get pushed around by no cop with a fresh book of tickets. Buster, I'm walking across this dead grass.
Very well, sir. I've warned you.
No, McGee, please. Now, the officer is...
The officer is a lunkhead. Come on, kiddo. He won't dare give me a ticket because he knows I got my rights and...
Halt!
Huh?
I'm giving you a ticket, sir. Violation of ordinance number 2346-J. Flagrant abuse of city property, disregarding police warning, disorderly conduct, and resisting an officer. Your name, please.
Herman Gibbletrap. Meet my wife, Clara Gibbletrap.
How do you do? I'm not quite sure.
Your name is Fibber Magee, sir, of 79 Wistful Vista. And I remember you because I sold you 10 tickets to the police benefit ball. Sign here, please.
Nope.
You refuse to sign the citation?
Yep.
Then you'll have to come to the police station, sir.
Okay. Arrest me. Throw an innocent man in jail for demanding his constitutional rights. Railroad a citizen because he won't be pushed around by the cops. Go ahead. By George, I'll take this clean up to the Supreme Court.
Heavenly days, look at the crowd, McGee.
All right, one side there, folks. I'm calling the wagon. Let me through to the call box, please.
McGee, this is silly. The officer was right. He was just enforcing the law.
Well, it's a silly law, and by George, I'm...
Quiet, please. Hello, precinct? This is Officer Claude Borgenhutz, shield number 98. What's that? Oh, I'm sorry.
What's the matter?
Wrong number.
Now then, Chief, will you explain once more to my husband that if he just posts $10 bail, he can get out of here?
Okay, lady. Now look, McGee. Oh, go fry a pig, you big leatherhead. I know I can get out of here if I post a bond, but I ain't going to post a bond. I'm going to make an issue out of this case.
But McGee, dearie, lover.
No, sir. By George. I got my rights, and I'm going to make a test case out of this. I'm going to arouse up public opinion, drag this whole dirty mess out into the open, expose corruption, and...
Shut up a minute, McGee.
Okay.
11th Precinct, Horowitz. What? She did? At 14th and Oak? I'll send Breen right over. Don't touch the body till he gets there.
Heavenly days, don't touch the body.
Homicide, Chief?
Oh, no. Detective Breen's wife just ran her car into a fire hydrant.
Oh.
She wants to pound out the dents in the body with the heel of her shoe. But I told her to wait. Now then, McGee, why don't you be reasonable? Just post $10 bail and go home. We don't want to be...
No, sir. I won't do it. Throw me in jail. This ain't just a matter of posting a bond. This is bigger than that. This is a fight against corruption. This is the fight of one citizen against the whole political machine, against oppression. The freedom of the press is involved here. Call the Wistful Vista Gazette. Call the mayor.
Hold everything there. You can't do this to these kids, officer.
Do what?
I don't know. What are you doing?
Hello, Mr. Oldtimer.
Hi, old-timer. Don't you worry about us. This is a test case, and I'm going to fight it clean up to the Supreme Court. Higher than that, even. Cleared ahead of Hopper.
Good for you, Johnny. Minute I heard you was in trouble, I dashed right over. I know how to handle these cops.
Really, old-timer? You a lawyer?
Nope. Used to be a crook, Johnny.
Oh.
Member of the car barn bandits from 1910.
Good heavens, were you really a car barn bandit? Then you reformed, huh?
Had to, daughter. After stealing the car barn, we couldn't find any place to hide it. Need any bail, Johnny?
No, thanks, old-timer.
Good, I'm busted. Now then, Chief, what's the charge against this innocent boy?
Well, in the first place, Mr.
I ain't a boy, and I ain't innocent. I'm guilty. I busted a silly, ridiculous law that years ago should ought to have been peeled.
You mean repealed?
When was it peeled?
Well, I can't...
Never mind, kiddo. Anyway, old-timer, I'm going to make an issue out of this. I'm going to...
Good for you, boy.
That's
Get in there and fight.
Yes, sir.
Now, watch yourself, Chief. I'm with this boy all the way. I'll stick by him to the bitter end.
Look, bum. One more word out of you, and I'll throw you in the pokey, too.
This, kids, is the bitter end.
Billy Mills to the orchestra and Ding-a-ling-a-ling.
Well, I just don't know what to do, Chief. He won't let me post bail for him.
Well, I got to get him out of here some way, Mrs. McGee. We fill up ourselves with guys that just walk on lawns. We got no room for our regular customers. Otherwise, I'd let him sit in that cell till he grew moss on his north side.
Well, if you haven't got anything else on your side, I suppose you might as well have moss. I wish I knew how...
Hey, Chief, what are we going to do about that jerk back there? He's demoralizing the whole bullpen.
Don't you dare call my husband a jerk, Sergeant.
Oh, look, lady, if he ain't a jerk, how do you know what I'm talking about?
You know, that's a good question at that.
Well, bring him out here, Biscaloos. I'll talk to him again. See if we can't get rid of him.
Yeah, okay, Chief.
Hi, Molly.
Dearie, I'm so glad to see you. Let Mother look at you. Have they treated you all right in there?
Treated me awful. A great big cop just gave me a horrible beating.
Oh, dear. With a nightstick?
No, with a checkerboard. Beat me 3 straight games. I think his checkers were marked, too, but I couldn't...
Well, McGee, we've decided to let you go. Take him home, Mrs. McGee. I think he's learned his lesson.
Oh, no, you don't. I'm a citizen and a taxpayer, and you can't throw me out of jail.
Oh, McGee.
This is a cause.
Look, my boy, if you go home, I'll tear up this citation. I'll tear it up in little bitty pieces.
No, sir. I'm going to stay right here till you repeal them keep off the grass signs. Get me some action. Get the mayor over here. Call the board of aldermen. I'm going to drag this whole rotten mess out in the open, and who's these guys coming?
Well, the cards on their hats say press. They might be reporters from the newspapers.
Oh, boy, if they want a story from me, I'll
Chief.
give them...
The editor says you got some crackpot over here that claims... Oh, is this a guy?
That's him, Rudy. But your paper wouldn't be...
I'll handle this, Chief. Son, every great champion of the people, every crusader for a righteous cause, every great man who has had an appointment with destiny has been called a crackpot. You may quote me.
Thank you, Thomas Jefferson.
You may tell your readers, fellas, that I'm fighting for their rights. I claim it's illlawful to make it unlegal for a citizen not to be allowed that if he walks on the city hall lawn, which it's dead anyhow, he's got to get arrested, right?
I'd like to quote that statement, McGee, but the linotype machine was never built that could handle that grammar.
Exactly, and that's why I stand here shaking my fist.
Hold that pose, McGee. Grab a picture, Eddie. Got it. Great. This'll crowd the funnies right off page 12.
Take all the pictures you want, fellas. Here, Chief, you want to get in one? You can put your arm around my shoulders and smile. Like I was public enemy number 1 and you were the police commissioner. And... No?
No!
Oh.
Look, McGee, why don't you go home? If you do, I'll send you and Mrs. McGee home in a squad car.
Oh, I'd like that, McGee. It'll be such fun to ride away from the police station with you in a squad car for once.
Oh, no, you don't. I'm in this fight to the finish. And as the fearless champion of the people of Wistful Vista, the trod-down citizens of this fair...
Hold it, dearie, hold it, relax. The reporters have gone.
Huh? Oh. Well, anyway, I ain't going home. Not till I get this silly law nolly prost. We'll see who triumphs, me or justice. I'm going to stick with this thing by George.
Hey, pal, are you all right? I rushed right over here with a blanket. Here, wrap this around
What's the blanket for, Mr. Wilcox?
Well, I just met the old timer down the street, and he told me they tossed McGee in the drink.
That wasn't the drink, Junior. It was the clink.
Oh. Well, it's a good thing I came anyway, pal. I can help you.
Well, if you can persuade him to go home, Mr. Wilcox, you'll help all of us.
Amen, sister.
I ain't going home.
Well, don't you worry about a thing, pal. When they stick you in solitary and put you on bread and water, I'll toss some pet evaporated milk in through your cell window.
That ought to even things up, Mr. Wilcox. They throw McGee into the can, and you throw a can into McGee.
Yes, and look, pal, all you do is take the water they give you, mix it with an equal amount of pet milk, and you'll have good, rich, whole milk to keep up your strength.
That's very interesting, Junior, but I don't want to live no richer than anybody else in here, because I'm the champion of the people.
That's okay, champ. I was coming over here anyway. Huh? You see, so many smart cooks use pet milk in all their favorite family dishes that I thought I'd come and tell the chef of police how pet tastes so good.
Mr. Wilcox, that's not chef. It's chief.
It is?
Sure.
Well, that certainly louses up a cute idea for a commercial, Molly.
Well, never mind the commercials, Junior. This is a cause. This is a fight for a right.
Then stop waving your left, dearie.
Go out and rouse up the people, Junior. Tell them their freedom is in peril. Tell them about the Constitution.
Pal, I'll do it.
Good.
Friends, I'll say, what about your Constitution?
That's it.
The way to have a strong Constitution, I'll say, is to be sure you get plenty of rich, nourishing milk substance in your daily diet.
What's that got to do with me being in the clink?
Don't forget that the pet milk you use in cooking puts extra amounts of these necessary milk minerals into all your favorite family dishes.
Yeah, but
pet milk, I'll say, not only adds extra rich flavor and goodness to all of it.
Hey, goodness. Look, Milky.
Yes. Now, look, pal. We'll get this all straightened out in no time. I just remembered I've got some mighty good connections at the City Hall.
Oh, you have, Mr. Wilcox? What kind of connection?
2 water faucets and a light plug. I better go and pick them up. So long, kid.
Him and his connections. If I ever need a big drip, I'll know where to go.
Look, Magee, I can tell you where to go. Go home!
Please, now let's call this whole thing off, dearie. This is getting silly.
Oh, silly, eh? That's what they says when them 12 good men and true sat down on the Plymouth Rock and signed the Gettysburg Address. That's what they says when Benjamin Franklin said, give me liberty or give me a...
I've been trying to give you liberty for 3 hours, blabbermouth. Oh. Look, my boy, go on home, will you? We'll send you in a nice, shiny squad car. We'll let you drive. You can work the siren.
Oh, Magee, doesn't that sound like fun?
Yeah, that would be
You
fun.
can even flash the red light, Magee.
I can flash the red light. Say, that
Just picture yourself at the wheel of a fast police car.
Yeah?
Carrying past the Elks Club.
Yeah?
Siren screaming. Red light flashing.
Well, I don't know.
You love it, boy. Here, have a cigar. Take 2.
Oh, braggery, eh?
Oh, Magee.
And with cheap cigars, too.
Oh,
Nickels.
dear.
That's a federal offense, Buster. I could have you arrested for that, and I ain't going home. I'm staying here till the citizens of this town...
too much. Sergeant, bring a rubber hose out here.
What are you going to do to him?
Hook it to a faucet and spray me with it. Cool me off before I blow a gasket. This is the worst mess.
And I ain't going home.
The King's Men and the Tennessee Waltz.
I was dancing with my darling to the Tennessee Waltz when an old friend I happened to see. I introduced him to my darling, and while they were dancing, my friend stole my sweetheart from me. I remember the night and the Tennessee waltz. I know just how much I have lost. Yes, I lost my little darling the night they were playing the beautiful Tennessee waltz.
Well, I told you if I sat this case out, I'd get some action, Molly. I told you I'd wake up this town.
Yes, according to the papers here, you certainly did stir up.
Are you comfortable there in my chair, Magee? Take my cap off.
Okay. Don't fit with them apples in it anyhow. Wait till you hear what happened, Chief. Molly just brought the papers in. Read that headline again, kiddo.
All right. It says, Citizen charges persecution by local authorities.
Oh, no.
Questions legality of city ordinance. Also claims severe beating by burly jailer.
At Checkers, that was. Besides, it wasn't Burley, it was Jackson.
That's besides the point, Chief. Pipe down. Read more, Molly. Go on.
Well, it says, the Gazette learned this afternoon that Mrs. Y. Hamilton Dumfries, president of the Lugs...
President of the what?
The Lugs.
The Lugs.
Lugs. Lugs. The Ladies' Underdog Guardian Society. It says Mrs. Dumfries, whose organization considers itself a force for good, has pledged its all-out support in this case.
Oh, no, not her. Boy, does that dame give us trouble. Every time she shows up, I get more explaining to... how do you do, Mrs. Dumfries?
Good day, Chief. Are these the people?
Yeah, that's them. Mr. and Mrs. McGee, this is Mrs. Dumfries. She's a do-gooder.
Well, how do you do, I'm sure.
Dumpy? I'm glad you came. I knew if I kicked up enough ruckus, I could rouse the rabble in this town, and here you are.
Mr. McGee, I'm sure you will be interested in the policy of our organization.
Now, look, sis, I got no time to talk insurance. I'm fighting for justice.
I'm referring to our objectives, Mr. McGee. The Lugs are always on the side of the underdog. You understand, of course, that the minute you start winning your case, the other side becomes the underdog, and we switch over and start helping them.
You know, I've read a great deal about your club, Mrs. Dumfries, the Lugs.
Thank you, dear.
Aren't you the ladies who demanded they extend the city limits because the outskirts were too short?
Indeed we are. Do you remember that bitter campaign, Chief?
Brother, do I remember it. I'd have shot myself if I could have held my gun steady.
But wait till you hear our plans for this case.
Yeah. What's the plans, Dumpy? What's the plan?
Well, first, we make a routine demand for your release. Chief, as chairwoman of the Liberation Committee of the Lugs, I demand the immediate release of this underdog.
Release him? Look, Mrs. Dumfries, I got news for you. I've been trying to release this nuisance for 3 hours. And another thing, you're on the wrong side already. I'm the underdog here.
Hey, Chief, you folks please keep your voices down a little. The guys in the bullpen say they can't sleep.
Well, sing to them. I got troubles of my own. Tell them if I get any more complaints, I'll let it out.
What's going on here? Have you seen the newspaper?
You get out of here, too, mister. We're busy. And we got... Oh, hello. Hello, Mayor.
Hi, Latrivia.
Hello, Mr. Mayor.
Good day, Mayor Latrivia.
Hello, McGee, Molly, Mrs. Mrs. Dumfries! Are you in on this thing, too?
I am indeed, Mr. Mayor. We of the Lugs have undertaken the case of this underdog.
That's me, Latrivia.
At 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we will have 100 pickets marching in front of the City Hall. We will contact the governor, send out circulars, and we'll have a square dance in the Civic Center next Friday evening.
Oh, you mean to raise funds?
Oh, no, we girls just like to square dance. Good day, everyone.
Now then, will somebody please explain to me what goes on here? My office is full of morons demanding my recall. The newspapers have been on my back like a mustard plaster. My switchboard operator jumped out of the window at 3:22 this afternoon. I got a wire from the governor demanding a full investigation. Now, what is this? What do I investigate?
Ain't this interesting, Molly? I told you I'd get action.
You could also get action by playing kickball with a hornet's nest. Not as much fun, maybe, but...
Well, here's how it all started, Mayor. This stupid little...
I'll tell this, Buster. Now, look, Latriv.
Yes?
You got a law. Wrote into a city ordinance that even if there's a foot of snow on top of it and it's red underneath and dead grass ain't grass, it's hay, that says you can't walk across the City Hall lawn ought to be repealed.
Molly. You speak English? You tell me.
Certainly, Mr. Mayor. There's a sign on the City Hall lawn that says, keep off the grass. And McGee walked on the grass, which there isn't any right now, and got pinched, that's all.
What do you mean, that's all? Ain't it enough that a citizen's rights can get trampled on easier than the city hall lawn? Ain't it enough that a citizen and a taxpayer is bullied by a bunch of flat feet that ought to be out catching crooks? Ain't it enough?
Yes, that's enough. That's plenty. Chief, tear up the complaint. Turn this man loose.
Turn him loose, he says. Mayor, I've been trying all afternoon to turn him loose. He won't go. He's been...
Go on home, Magee. I'll repeal the ordinance that forbids walking on the city hall grass. From now on, you can play polo on it.
I don't play polo, and if I don't...
Oh, be quiet! The way you've thrown this town into an uproar with your stupid little crusade is ridiculous.
Well, I don't think so.
Now, go on home. The charge against you is dismissed. The signs will be torn up. Get out of here. Please!
Well, that seems fair enough, dearie. You've made your point, such as it was. Come on, let's go home.
No.
Oh,
I know my rights. The American Constitution of the United States states that a guy getting out of jail is entitled to $10 and a new suit. Where's mine?
Here. Here's $10.
Thanks.
Here's 12, 13, 14. Here's $15. Now get out.
Where's my new suit?
Here. This is a new suit I have on. Take it. Here's my coat.
No.
Here's my vest. Take my pants.
No, Mr. Mayor.
Fibber and Molly return in a moment. You know, along about this time of the year, even here in California, the sun's rays have a hard time getting through. So, how do we get the sunshine vitamin? The vitamin so essential, particularly for youngsters. Why, we just reach for pet milk in the grocery store. You see, all pet milk is fortified with extra vitamin D. When you mix a pint of pet milk with a pint of water, that makes a quart of rich whole milk which contains 400 units of pure crystalline vitamin D. And, as I mentioned earlier, scientific experiments show that 400-unit vitamin D milk given to your child in the right amount in an adequate daily diet can help to prevent or stop tooth decay. Yes, pet evaporated milk with its extra amounts of vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, can help to prevent or stop tooth decay. So get pet milk at your grocer's tomorrow. Get plenty for all the family.
Hey, Molly, did you see this item in tonight's paper?
What's that?
It says, Mayor repeals the walk-on-grass ordinance.
Well, good for him. He kept his promise, huh?
What do you mean, good for him? He can't repeal an ordinance single-handed. He's got to go through the city council. Hand me the phone. By George, as a citizen of this town...
Oh, no.
Okay, good night.
Good night, all.
The first evaporated milk, Pet Milk, brings you Fibber, Magee, and Molly each week at this time. Be with us again next Tuesday night, won't you? If a cute teenage girl suddenly decided that your handsome husband was her big romance, how would you handle the situation? Well, that's the problem Sally Carter faces in the hilarious story of the week next Saturday morning on Pet Milk's Mary Lee Taylor program. And Mary Lee Taylor's recipe of the week is for a satisfying oven dinner apple sausage loaf. Don't miss this big double feature program. Next Saturday morning, tune in to your NBC station for Pet Milk's Mary Lee Taylor.
It's The Face of Murder in Big Town, next on NBC.
Well, Silver, wait those thrilling days of yesteryear with the Lone Ranger up next.
fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion, Tonto, the masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early days of the western United States. His strength and courage were always on the side of right against might. No man could match his daring and resourcefulness, and nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young and the Lone Ranger was fighting the greatest battle of his entire career. A strange and demoralizing rumor began to circulate throughout the territory surrounding the town of Spanish Flats. A rumor that spread with the speed of wildfire.
Hey, you hear the news? What's up? The Lone Ranger's dead. Oh. It's the truth. And them crooks hiding out near the Rio killed him. Get up, fella. Hey, wait. Ken, get to tell the others. Get up, get up. I tell you, it's as certain as I'm a setting this horse. They got him. They got the Lone Ranger. They got him. Got the Lone Ranger. If they done for the masked man, what chance we got? Lone Ranger's dead. The Lone Ranger's done for.
But Tonto, the Lone Ranger's faithful Indian companion, and Arizona Lawson were unaware of the story that was spreading so swiftly. Brought to the district by the rancher Graham to aid him in his fight against organized gangs of outlaws, they had made camp close to Graham's ranch house. Arizona was speaking seriously to Tonto, while their horses, saddled and ready, grazed nearby.
Tonto, there's no use fooling ourselves. We've reached a doggone tough place. We've taken care of 3 of them gang leaders and a good passel of their men. But we've been lucky.
Not right.
If the masked man was so he could ride with us, I wouldn't be worrying. But he ain't. Until he's over that gunshot wound, he won't be neither. And hard as we've been fighting them crooks, we ain't his match. And all the time, behind them crooks we can fight out in the open, is the boss of theirs that nobody knows about. He's the one I'm scared of most.
Him heap clever.
Any fellow that can run a dozen gangs like he's done without his own men finding out who he is has to be. And that ain't the worst of it.
What that?
It ain't so much that they don't know who that gent is, but we don't neither. He might be anybody. Till he's found and jailed, ain't a man in the district we can trust.
Not bad.
Bad. It's poison. And don't you think that fellow won't be trying to settle with us and Graham again one of these days. He won't let us keep on. Can't afford to.
Then what we do?
The way I got it figured out, Tonto, the thing for us to do is to keep striking fast. It's just about our only chance. Don't let them have the time to get set to fix us.
You got plan?
Well, I've been talking to Graham. He's picked up some information about a couple of more hombres.
Who them?
One's a fella named Laramie. Graham says from what he can learn, his Laramie's bunch has been smuggling stuff across the border for the gang.
Oh.
And there's another gent goes by the name of Pedro Mendoza. Likely that ain't his real one, but it serves.
Who, him?
Well, he stays below the border most of the time. Graham thinks he works with Laramie, selling the stuff like horses and such that Laramie takes over to him.
Oh.
Now, they're the fellas I reckon we ought to go after next. But I ain't sure just how to go about it.
What you mean?
Well, should we go after Mendoza, or should we go after Laramie? Or you think we're strong enough to take them both on?
Me not know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't either. I reckon we better find out what else Graham's picked up before we decide. Huh? What's Wolf up? Wolf! Here, fella. What's ailing you, boy? Huh? What is it? You figure him out, Tonto?
You listen.
Huh?
It's horse.
So it is. You heard it first, huh, fella? Good boy. But you stay quiet now, hear me? Make him out, Tonto.
It's Graham.
Coming here? Say, if he's coming to camp and he promised to stay away, it must be something serious. Hi there!
Hello.
What's up?
Oh, there, Wolf. Just about everything.
Huh?
Tonto, I've been in Spanish Flat.
There's trouble?
Words got out the masked man was murdered. And just when things were going our way. Just when people were beginning to get up the courage to fight on our side.
Oh, that's bad.
It means half of our work has gone for nothing.
How do you mean?
Do you think we'll be able to convince them they've got a chance against the men who killed the masked man? They were frightened enough of that gang before, but now they're absolutely terrified. The sheriff is so...
What about the sheriff?
Remember how puffed up he was after Tonto had tricked him into capturing Red Kemp's gang?
Uh-huh.
Well, after that, I thought he was going to be of some use to us. But now he's as bad as any of them. He's half frightened out of his wits.
Golly. Tonto? There's just one thing we have to do. We can't let all our work be spoiled like this.
Oh, what you mean?
We've got to tell them the truth.
Oh, we make promise.
I know, Tonto. But this is just one of them times when a promise has to be broken. Don't you see? He'd tell you the same himself.
What are you two talking about? What promise is this? Is it something I don't know about?
Well,
Is it?
It ain't for me to say, Graham. It's up to Tonto. But I think Tonto knows that something has to be done.
Tonto, what's he talking about? Well, of course, I'm not demanding that you tell me. But if something that concerns the work we've been doing, I think you should remember we're fighting on the same side and sharing the same risks. Well?
Lone Ranger, him not dead.
What's that?
Him live.
And you've never told me? You let me go on thinking I brought him here to his death?
Now, don't blame Tonto, Graham. It was a masked man's idea. It weren't that he didn't trust you. It was just that he figured the fewer knew about him still being alive, the better.
Yes. Yes, of course.
Well, anyhow, now it's out. Tonto, I'll tell you what you better do.
What's that?
Ride to town and tell the sheriff what you just told Graham. He thinks a heap of you, Tonto. He'll believe you where he wouldn't believe me.
Here, Scout.
And you can depend on him getting the news around as fast as anybody can.
Me go now. Get him up, Scout. Get him up.
Sheriff Wicks of Spanish Flats was having other troubles besides those caused by the rumors of the Lone Ranger's death. In his office, he rapidly read a letter that had just been delivered to him, then slapped it down upon his desk with an expression of disgust.
Thunderation. What's the matter now, Sheriff? Get bad news?
Know who that letter's from?
How could I? I ain't read it.
Captain Blake.
Yes? Who's he? Army man?
Captain Blake of the Texas Rangers.
Oh.
Of all the dad-ratted nerve.
You sound like what he wrote you wasn't such pleasant reading.
He says I'm to blame because there's so much smuggling going on over the south border of my county.
Well, ain't you?
Huh? What's that you said?
Now, don't get mad at me, Sheriff, if I tell you the truth. You know it as well as I do. When did you ever try to catch Laramie at it?
But he's one of that gang.
Uh-huh, there you are. Scared stiff of them.
You know anybody around here, ain't?
Oh, Graham, eh?
But,
And from what I've heard, neither is Arizona Lawson nor that redskin they call Tonto. Fact is, just about a week ago, you weren't yourself. For a couple of minutes.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about that night you rounded up Red Kemp's outfit. They were a part of the same gang.
Oh.
And speaking of Tonto, I think that's him riding that paint of his down the street. He's pulling up here.
There's one doggone smart Injun.
If he wasn't, he'd never have been traveling with the Lone Ranger.
Oh, don't even mention that hombre's name. When I think of them crooks getting that feller...
Yeah, I savvy.
Come in.
Hello. Howdy.
Hi there, Tonto. What are you doing in town?
Me hear feller tell lie. Hear feller say masked man dead. Everybody knows it, Tonto. It's all over the county. It's not true.
It's not. Hey, say that over again.
Lone Ranger, him still live.
Well, I'll be... Tonto, them crooks didn't get him? They didn't? You're not lying to me?
Me tell truth.
He's alive.
Sure he be.
Where's that letter?
The one from that Blake hombre? Right where you threw it on your desk.
He's getting an answer.
Yeah?
Afraid of Laram and his gang, am I? Well, I'll show them Texas Rangers.
You get 'em?
You bet I am.
Tonto help.
I don't need no help. So they'll call me Ella, huh? I'll do this job alone.
Hold, Scott. Hold, fella. Hold. Hold, fella. Hold.
Back already, Tonto? Seen the sheriff, did you?
Me see him. Now you come.
Huh?
We ride.
Yeah? Where we going? Here, fella.
Ride the cave. See masked man.
Oh, I say. Figure you better let him know that you're told he's still living, huh? Any objection to Wolf coming along?
Not all right.
Well, let's get started.
Get him up, Scout.
Get up. Get up.
This time, Tonto did not pause to signal the masked man of his approach when he had reached the barren, hilly wastelands along the Rio Grande. Instead, with Arizona at his side and Arizona's dog Wolf following behind, he continued swiftly on, reaching the river, splashing his way across the muddy, treacherous stream, then making for a cliff wall that was dotted for miles with the dark mouths of countless caves. Although few could have traveled that forbidding district without having soon lost their way, the stern-faced Indian rode unerringly toward his goal. Reaching the cliff, he sent Scout up a narrow, winding trail that seemed carved from solid rock. At length, the trail widened. At last, Tonto signaled for a halt, where an entrance to one of the many caves appeared just over their heads.
Hold, Scout. Hold, fella. Oh. Miss, Clay.
I'm coming. Oh, fella. Oh. That it up there? You sure chose a place nobody'd ever find. Gosh, I wouldn't want to make many trips up here. I guess they must be back inside a ways. Don't seem to have hurt us anyway.
You call Padre?
Yeah. Padre? Hi there. Hey, it's us. It's me and Tonto. That's funny.
Them not answer.
Now, don't get to worrying, Tonto. Let me call again. Padre! Hey, Padre, it's Arizona. Well, I'll be... Tonto, I reckon this is something you and me better look into. The masked man ever tell you he might leave the cave once in a while?
Him wounded. How him get out?
Golly, that's right. He couldn't. Say, you think that maybe...
Me afraid outlaw get here first.
You mean because we told? Tonto, I don't like this. The quicker we find out what's happening there, the better.
You hurry.
How are we going to get up there?
Me lift you. Then you pull Tonto up.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Me lift you.
Tonto, I'm afraid... Something tells me whatever's up there, maybe we shouldn't know it. Well, here goes. Give me your hand.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger story. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. to continue our story.
Hang on, Tonto.
When Arizona had reached the level of the cave, he braced himself, lowered a hand, and pulled Tonto up after him.
Come on, Tonto. I got a good hold. Just a little more. You're almost there. Be all right. Made it. Better get our breath. Gosh, it's dark in there. Can't see a thing.
We make light.
Uh-huh. I got matches.
That a lamp?
Huh? How'd that get here?
Padre, bring it.
Oh, I'll fix it. You ready to look around?
Me ready.
Just a second. Yeah. Now we got something to see by. Come on.
That's where them make camp.
Where they made their campfires. But ain't a thing in here. Why, everything's gone. Blankets, grub, even them medicines the Padre brought along are gone.
That's heaps strange.
And no message. No sign, nothing.
No.
There's the end of the cave.
Me see it.
Tonto, you recollect just before we climbed up here what I said? That maybe we wouldn't want to find out what we was likely to in this cave? I was right. Everything gone. No message. Tonto, we found out the last thing I ever wanted to know.
Masked man in heap big danger.
Maybe worse, Tonto.
Oh.
He'd have left some message if he'd gone willingly, wouldn't he? Tonto, maybe this time them crooks really done it. Maybe we'll never see the masked man again.
Tonto and Arizona, when they had descended again from the cave and reached the valley floor, searched in all directions for a clue to the disappearance of the Lone Ranger and the Padre, but found nothing. When they rode on again, they did so in silence, each preoccupied with his own thoughts. Tonto's face, apparently expressionless, only served as a mask for emotions of rage and despair. Arizona's features were set in a scowl, but when the wolf hunter glanced at his companion, he forgot his own grief to offer comfort to the other.
Tonto, I know what you're thinking. I guess I feel pretty much the same as you. But you can't go blaming yourself for this. If anybody's to blame, it's me.
Me tell masked friend live. Outlaw find him.
You wouldn't have said nothing if I hadn't persuaded you to, though.
Me break promise. Me tell.
We don't even know that breaking our promise had anything to do with this. Maybe Laramie or some of the rest of that gang got scouting around and... Laramie. Tonto, I'll bet he's the one.
What you mean?
Ain't he been in charge of the smuggling for the gang? Ain't he the one that knows all this country here along the Rio best? Then who'd be more likely to find the masked man than he would?
You're right.
And that means what we was talking about afore is decided for us.
What's that?
Remember when I said I didn't know which one we ought to get after first? Laramie or that Pedro Mendoza? Well, we're hunting up Laramie. I don't care whether Mendoza works with Laramie or not. If he's the gent that found the masked man, he's the gent I aim to settle with first.
That's good.
He'll pay, Tonto. And by thunder, I'm going to have the pleasure of helping to make him pay. What's that?
Them shots.
Oh, boy.
Who's got who?
But where'd they come from? Who fired them?
Them long way off.
Maybe. There they are again. And this time I know which way they come from.
Them come from that way.
Back on the north side of the river. Whoever fired them shots, Tonto, he's in trouble. Come on.
Get him up.
Get up, fella. Come on, look. Get up.
Urging their mounts to their greatest speed, the two men recrossed the Rio and raced in the direction of the canyon from which the gunshots had seemed to come. Just before reaching the canyon itself, they changed their course, circling to gain the crest of a hill that would reveal all that lay below. Reaching the top, once more they drew their mounts to a halt.
Hold it, boy. Quiet, Wolf. Hey, Tonto, look there. Who do you think them fellas are?
Me not know.
They sure head up about something. Listen to them. Say, you think they could have seen us?
Them not look this way.
Oh, I guess they ain't. Well, doggone.
What matter?
Look beyond them, Tonto. Farther down the valley there. See that one hombre that's all alone? Look. Now he's jumping from the saddle and running for them rocks. He's throwing lead at them other gents now. Ain't there something familiar about that fella, Tonto? Ain't we seen him someplace before?
Wait. That sheriff.
What?
That's him, all right.
You look. Well, golly if it ain't. With all them fellas after him. Now what kind of a hole he got himself in?
Me not know.
Wish them other fellas would spread out more, so as we could get a good look at them. I'd give a heap to know who they are. They're edging towards the place where the sheriff's hiding.
Maybe them rush sheriff.
That's just what they're getting set to do. Tonto, maybe I'm wrong, but you know what I think?
What that?
Didn't you tell me when you seen the sheriff, he said as how he was going after Laramie, and he didn't need nobody's help?
That's what him say, all right.
Well, I just got a hunch he's found Laramie, and wishes now he hadn't.
You think Laramie down there?
I could be wrong, Tonto, but I'll bet plenty I ain't.
Me get him.
Hey, hold on.
Him fella get masked man. Me fix him.
Oh, Tonto, wait. You can't just go right into that bunch. Wait till we figure out a way to go at this. They'll have you where they've got the sheriff. Hey, stop!
You let Tonto go. Me fix him.
Hey,
get him up, Scout.
Come back here, you crazy galoot. Come back.
Get him up. Get him up, fella. Get him up.
Gone clean loco because he thinks Laramie done for the masked man. Well, I guess I'm loco, too, because I'm following right along. Get up, boy. Whoa, come on.
Plunging like a thunderbolt from the hill to the canyon bed, Tonto sent Scout driving for the band of dismounted gunmen who were slowly closing in on the sheriff.
Get him up, Scout.
Get up, fella. Get on, boy.
Get him up.
Arizona, shouting wildly to his own flying mount, followed not far behind. And the outlaws, turning at the sound of the two speeding horses, were too astonished by their arrival to do more than give way and abide before the onrush. But before Tonto and Arizona could check the flight of their mounts, they found they had been carried beyond the gunmen, had reached the place where the sheriff had taken refuge.
Whoa, Scout. Whoa, fella. Whoa.
Boy, go up there. Whoa.
Hi there. Hey, Arizona. Get back here with me. Get the cover.
Right.
Me go back.
Oh, no, you don't. Once going crazy like that's enough.
Me get killer.
Doggone it, Tonto. You got away with it the first time because he didn't know you was coming. But can't you see you'd never have a chance the second time? They're just ready and waiting for you. Now, you come on.
Me ride.
You set on that? Then I reckon here's where I get mine, Tonto. Let's go.
You stay back.
Nothing doing. You go, I go.
You get killed.
That's my privilege as much as yours, ain't it?
You will not stay back.
If you ride, not in your tin type.
Then come.
Huh?
We take cover.
With the sheriff? Now you're talking. And if we don't hustle, we'll catch lead poisoning. Get up, fella.
Get him up, Scout. Get him up.
You fellas! Hurry up!
Oh, Scout. Hold, fella. Down. Quick. Get back here with me.
We're with you, Sheriff.
Send the horses on back. You go, Scout.
Get him up, boy.
Why in thunder you take so long making up your minds to come the rest of the way? I thought them skunks was going to get you. That's Laramie, feller. Him all right. Him gets masked man. You mean this time he'd really done for the Lone Ranger?
Looks kind of like it, Sheriff.
Why, blast their low-down mangy hide. Here they come. Let them have it.
The first attack of the outlaws was beaten off, and the second, and the third. Given a breathing space, the three trapped men discussed their situation.
Sheriff, while we got a little time, suppose you explain how you got in this fix, huh?
Just from getting mad and being a stubborn idiot.
Yeah?
Got a letter from Captain Blake of the Texas Rangers giving me the dickens. Then a feller back in town said I hadn't gone after Laramie because I yeller. He was telling the truth. So that's why I got mad. Wouldn't listen to nobody. Just plain seen red. I'd heard it hinted Laramie'd be over this way on a little deal with Mendoza, so I come here alone. Which same is what I get for refusing help.
And now the three of us are in for it.
It looks it.
Where, Mendoza?
I don't know. He usually has some half-breeds trailing along with him, but I ain't seen hiding a hair of them. Only Laramie there.
That wouldn't be them, would it?
Huh? Where?
Just entering the canyon. Heading for Laramie's bunch.
My golly, I think. Thunderation it is.
Not bad.
Bad. Just means almost double the number against us there was, that's all.
We didn't have a chance before. Now we ain't got half that many. Well, all we can do is sell out for plenty and give them all we got when they come again.
Wait, hold it.
What's that?
Them two gangs don't look so friendly to me. Sheriff, Tonto, they're going for their gun.
Well, I'll be... What in thunder you make of that?
Make of it? I don't give a hoot. All I know is that fight was just made to order for us.
Them not watch.
Too busy. Ain't got time for nobody but each other. Let's circle around and get closer.
You think so?
Sheriff, I think when them two bunches get through battling, won't either one of them win. We will. Come on. Look there. That breed winged Laramie, by golly.
If we don't butt in pretty soon, there won't be enough left of them to take prisoner.
Sheriff, you circle farther there to the left.
What do you got in mind?
Tonto can circle to the right. I'll stay here. When I yell, all of us throw down at them at once.
All right.
And we'll have them where if they don't surrender, we can blast them to glory. Hurry up now. I'll count to 5. That'll give you time.
Me go. I'm on my way.
Golly, whatever them gents are fighting about, they're sure mad. Just look at them go it. Wow. See that one fella tip over. And that little gent, fighting like a wildcat. Where's the sheriff and Tonto? There's Tonto. He's all set. Yeah, and the sheriff is too. Well, here's for it.
Drop them guns and start to reaching, gents, or you can say goodbye to living right now.
You always heist them. Drop down.
They'll sneak up on us.
Got us covered. Engine got our horses blocked off.
Yes, they have it. No, you don't. Next man to try that gets worse. Come on, Tonto. At him, Sheriff. Take their guns. Yeah, you birds, let loose of those.
Don't shoot, Larry.
Get the head out of the gun.
Them not make trouble now. Got the whole kit and caboodle of them.
Laramie, you are one great fool. If you do not try to cheat me, these things do not happen.
Oh, my arm. I didn't cheat you, Pedro. How many times do I have to tell you? I sent you that cash by Clem.
Clem? Then why you not say so?
Well, didn't I try to when you went for your guns?
Diablo, it was not Clem I see. It was a masked man.
How did that be?
I think the senor with a mask come from you. He say you no bring cash, that you keep money for yourself, that you think me a big coward would not dare to ask for the cash.
A masked man told you that?
See.
And you thought I sent him?
See.
Well, that's enough of that, you two. Line up with your pards so I can search you good before we start for the calaboose.
Tonto, you hear that?
Me here.
A masked man. Got these two outfits to scrapping. Tricked them to save our lives.
That's the Lone Ranger.
Living and raising Ned with crooks. Tonto, with him riding again, there ain't nothing can stop us. Sheriff, put these coyotes on their horses. Let's get going.
Mount, you polecat.
I'm aching to get at the rest of their parts. Who can beat us now? The Lone Ranger's on our side.
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
Hunt the biggest of all game with the Green Hornet and Cato coming up next.
Secretary to Britt Reed, publisher of the Daily Sentinel, looked up as Michael Axford warily entered the office and sank with a sigh of relief into a chair.
Oh, me poor feet are killing me, that they are, Casey. And they caught me such a cold I can hardly talk.
What on earth have you been doing all afternoon, Axford? What made you so tired?
Oh, walking, Casey. Walking me legs off trying to check up on them 20 neediest families the Daily Sentinel took care of last Christmas. It was Reed's idea that we should find out how they're making out this year.
Well, what did you find out about?
Well, that's just it, Casey. Would you believe it? I went to 9 of them places. Most of them are better off than I am myself.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, just that. 6 of the families I visited were living in solid comfort, with the houses fixed up, plenty of food and stuff like that.
Really? Well, it's strange. As I remember, each of those 20 families was in dire need a year ago. Most of them have been on our list for several years.
Sure you're not telling me a thing I don't know, Casey. But some of them seem to have struck it lucky somehow during the past year. But they won't be needing our help any longer.
Well, I'm glad they've been so fortunate, even if I can't understand how it happened.
Yes. And go down to the city room. If Reed wants me, he can let me know.
Oh, wait a minute, Axford.
What do you want?
Do you have a list of the families you visited?
Oh, sure. They got it right here. There you are.
Oh, thanks.
The ones with the little crosses beside it were the families that seem to have plenty of dough to get along on.
Oh, good. I'll give this list to Mr. Reed.
Do what you like with it. But I'm through trapping around. If he can't take it.
Oh, that's too bad. They're such nice big ones, too.
You and your corny jokes. Did you get that, Casey? Big feet, corny jokes. That's a snappy comeback for you.
You get out of here. Oh, what a guy. Well, I'll take this list into Mr. Reed. Mr. Reed.
What is it, Kate?
Axford came in and brought this list with him.
A list?
Yes. Mr. Gunnigan sent him out to investigate the 20 neediest families. The ones from the Sentinel helped last year.
Oh, yes.
And this is a list of the families that Axford visited this afternoon. 9 of them. There's something about that list that's peculiar.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, those names marked with little crosses seem to have struck it rich, according to Axford. At least they're all living in solid comfort.
Really? Let's see. Oh, yeah. There's 6 names marked that way.
That's right.
Well, tell me, do you still have the case histories on these families?
Yes, sir. I have them in my files.
Well, leave them on my desk in the morning. I'll go over them when I get a chance. Oh, by the way, you might as well weed out those Axford found in good condition. They won't be needing our help this Christmas.
All right. You know, it seems strange to me that 6 of the neediest families a year ago managed to come out so well this year.
Well, personally, I'm glad to know they can do it.
Oh, I am, too. I was just surprised, that's all.
Well, they probably had more gumption than the rest. Some of those families have been on our list for several years.
I know. And I'll be interested to find out if any of the fortunate 6 have been on our list for any length of time.
Well, so will I. Well, I'm going to call it a day in this case. I'll see you in the morning.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Good night.
Morning, Gunnigan. Axford. Hi, Chief. Good morning, Reed. What do you think about Spencer? Was in the morning edition.
Ray Spencer, the big shot racketeer? Well, what about him?
Well, you know, the cops picked him up for questioning about that payroll holdup.
I know.
For a while there, it looked like they had the goods on Spencer. There was a witness who took the number and description of the hold-up car as it left the scene, and it was traced to Spencer.
Sure, he claimed his car had been stolen. No one believed that, Chief.
That is, no one believed it till last night, Reed, when the cops were tipped off that some bum was flashing a big roll of dough in a Water Street bar.
That's right, Chief. When they picked up the bum, the cops found some of the payroll checks on him. He confessed to the holdup.
Sure, and that let Spencer in the clear.
After all, if Spencer was innocent...
Innocent ain't the word to use for that guy, Reed. Maybe he didn't pull the hold-up job, but to my way of thinking, he's done a lot he's managed to get out of. He's a smooth one, that Spencer.
He sure is, Mike. He came out of prison with nothing. Yet within a year he buys a big nightclub and seems to have money to burn. Where it all came from is a mystery.
The city could do well without men like Spencer. There doesn't seem to be anything that we can do with him. Seems to keep within the law.
Well, he'll make a slip someday, mark my word. Well, I'm going on down to cops' headquarters. See you both later. So long.
Meanwhile, in another part of the city, Ray Spencer sat at his desk in the office of his nightclub, talking to one of his henchmen.
Well, Virgil, we put it over again. I must admit you're smart enough at times, even though you do talk like a dope.
Oh, Chief, boy, thanks for the compliment.
Don't mention it.
No, I won't tell nobody if you say so. I never tell nothing you don't want me to.
Skip it, Virgil. Skip it. Here. Take this over to Maggie Hooker.
Yeah, sure.
Tell her she'll get the same amount this time next week.
Okay.
But the others, you get their dough to them all right?
Yeah. They all beat me like I was Santa Claus or something every time I go with the dough. Hey, do you have to pay out all that moolah every week, boss?
Absolutely, Virgil. If I don't keep my bargain with them, they might squeal, and that would be the end. Both of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. That wouldn't be so good, would it?
What do you think? You already did a stretch in the pen, so you ought to know.
Yeah. You know, somehow I didn't like it. I couldn't do what I wanted to. And they wouldn't let me go no place either.
That happens to be the policy of prisons, Virgil. Get going before Maggie Hooker thinks we're giving her husband the double cross.
I don't trust dames nohow. I ain't ever had no luck with them.
Really?
Yeah.
I just can't imagine why, Virgil. Go on, get started.
Sure, okay, boss.
Hurry back. I have other things for you to do.
I'll be right back, boss.
I brought in the letters you dictated this morning, Mr. Reed, and if you'll sign them now, I'll get them right out.
All right. I'm glad you finished them. I'd like to have you do something this afternoon.
Well, what is it?
Well, since Axford gave up on those neediest families, I thought perhaps you could visit a few of the ones he didn't get to. Take a cab and turn in an expense account.
Oh, fine. I'd like getting out for a while. Is there anything you want me to do here before I leave?
Well, no. If you see 2 or 3 this afternoon, we'll have someone else finish the visits tomorrow. You'd better leave right away.
Yes, sir. I'll leave right now. And I'll be back before 5 o'clock. Wait for me, please.
Okay, lady. Looking for somebody, lady?
Yes. So Mr. and Mrs. Marty Hooker live in this building?
Yeah, right down them steps. They live in the basement flat. Oh, you won't find Marty there.
No?
No, he got picked up for pulling that big payroll hold-up. Spending all the papers. Confessed he done it. I guess this old lady's home, though. Right down them steps like I told you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, throw the ball, will you? Okay. Hey, look, when I get the ball, you get down the street. Hey, keep going. Keep going. I'll hit you in the head the next time.
Well, what can I do for you, dearie? Are you Mrs. Hooker? Who wants to know? I'm from the Daily Sentinel. About the Christmas donation, you know. You were on our list last year. We thought we'd...
Oh, that. Come on in, dearie. Things are kind of mussed up a wee bit, but with the baby and all, and the old man being in trouble.
I understand. I'm sorry about your husband. You can count on the Sentinel to do all this.
Bless your heart, dearie, but we won't be needing to take your help.
This place is terribly cold and, well, with the baby and all, I'm sure you'll need...
Things ain't as bad as they look, that they ain't. Before the week's out, I'll be leaving this hovel for a nice flat on the west side. From now on, Maggie Hooker and her baby will be living in comfort. That we will, dearie.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, but I...
Oh, I can see it in your eyes. You think I'm talking a bit of blarney. Saints be praised. It's the truth when I say we'll be living better without that no-good Marty than we ever lived with him around.
Someone's offered to help you, then?
Well, there's a weekly income that's been arranged. A distant relative who came into plenty of money.
Oh?
Now, don't you worry your pretty head about Maggie Hooker, dearie. And you can tell your newspaper we'll be needing their help no longer, thank heaven.
I see. Well, thanks for seeing me, Mrs. Hooker, and I'm really glad things are going to be better for you.
Sure, and after I get settled in my new place, look me up and drop in for a cup of tea. Thankful I am for what you did last year. Goodbye, dearie.
Goodbye.
Miss Casey, no, Reed.
Well, hello, Axford. I guess I'm later than I intended to be, Mr. Reed.
We were just beginning to worry about you, Miss Case. It's almost 6 o'clock. How did you make out?
All right.
I went to 4 places. 3 of them are in just as bad condition as they were last year. The other one, though, won't need help this year.
Well, that's another one to cross off the list, then. Now, what's the name?
Hooker. The family of Marty Hooker. Mrs. Hooker says she's comfortably fixed from now on, and she intends to move to the west side. Her husband's in jail, I understand.
Marty Hooker, did you say?
Yes.
Say, Reed, come to think of it, 'twas Marty Hooker who confessed to that payroll holdup they tried to pin on Ray Spencer and his gang.
Really?
Marty Hooker's his name, sure as I'm sitting here.
In this case, did Mrs. Hooker say where she was getting the money?
Well, she was rather cagey about it. She said a distant relative decided to arrange a weekly income for her and the baby.
Well, let's see that list. Well, according to this, the Hookers have been among the neediest families for the past 3 years. This windfall from that distant relative is rather sudden, it seems to me.
It is that.
Moreover, I've been checking this afternoon on those whom Axford reported as being in comfortable circumstances.
Well, what did you find out, Mr. Reed?
I discovered that in each of those cases, the husband is imprisoned, each one having confessed to a crime.
You don't say. That's sure a coincidence, isn't it?
Well, it seems mighty funny to me.
Yes. It might not be a coincidence, actually.
What then?
Well, if I knew, I'd tell you.
Say, no. Maybe I'd better tip Sarge off to do a little investigating. To my way of thinking, all them guys that went to jail were in the same gang. And their wives know where they left some hidden stolen money.
Well, there you are. That settles the whole thing.
Well, not exactly. As a matter of fact, though, there may be some connection between all those confessed crooks and some one man or some group on the outside.
You got something there, Reed?
Well, maybe.
Mr. Reed, I was just thinking.
Go on, Miss Case.
Well, wasn't that racketeer Ray Spencer involved in the payroll holdup case before Hooker confessed?
Holy cow. Do you think Spencer's pulling something, Reed?
Well, what I think doesn't matter. The main thing is that the police get proof. And from what I've learned about Ray Spencer, if he is connected with Hooker and the others, getting proof against him is not going to be easy. We'll continue our Green Hornet adventure in just a moment. Now, back to the Green Hornet. After finding out that several men from the neediest families in the city had confessed to crimes and gone to prison, with the result that their families began receiving money, Britt Reed, young publisher of the Daily Sentinel, waited patiently for the result of the police investigation. It was several days later when Axford phoned from police headquarters. Hello?
This is Axford.
Well, what's up?
I encountered top headquarters. I was just talking to Sarge about that investigation.
What's the result?
Reed, they can't get anything out of any of those people. And Ray Spencer laughed in their faces when they questioned him.
Well, Spencer may not be involved, but if he is, as I said before, getting proof will not be easy.
Sarge says he thinks there's something funny about the whole setup, too. But it's all so tight they can't break it.
I see. Well, if they do get any sort of a lead, let me know.
Sure, Reed, that I will. See you later. So long.
Goodbye, Axford. Looks like it will take unorthodox methods. I'll call Cato on the private line. Cato, I have a job for you to do.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Britt. What I to do?
You know Ray Spencer?
Ray Spencer? I see his picture in paper often. The old Nightingale Club.
Right. And he has his office there. I want you to take the small coupe and go over there, shadow Spencer. Get to know by sight the men close to him. Be careful.
What I tried to find out.
Find out if Spencer or one of his men pays a weekly visit to the slum district.
Yes, sir. I watch carefully.
Good. Report to me as soon as you find out anything. Goodbye, Cato.
Goodbye, Mr. Britt.
It was almost 6 o'clock the following afternoon when Britt Reed returned to his office, from a board meeting at the Civic Club. Any messages for me, Miss Case?
Yes, sir. Cato phoned and said to tell you that he had a very special dinner waiting for you tonight and wants you to be sure and come home.
Oh, fine. Anything else?
These letters are to be answered.
Well, they can wait.
And Ashford phoned with a brilliant idea.
Well, let's have it.
Well, he wants money to buy toys and to hire a Santa Claus outfit so he can appear as Santa at the settlement house on Christmas Eve.
That I'd like to see. His way with children will make up for the Irish brogue, though. Tell him to go to it.
And last but not least, Gunnigan's been asking for you. He wants to discuss a new setup for the city page.
Well, tell Gunnigan to work it out to suit himself. I'm tired. I'm going home. I'll see you in the morning, Miss Case.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Good night. Brick Reed went to his apartment where Cato, his faithful Filipino valet, and the only person knowing his identity as the Green Hornet, was waiting. All right, Cato, let's have it. What did you find out?
I find out big man who have flat nose and big ears always with Spencer.
Bodyguard, perhaps?
That's what I think. This afternoon, this man, whom I learn go by name of Virgil, leave office and go to slum area. I follow.
Good. Where did he stop?
He go 2 places. I have names and addresses here. The last place he go is out on west side of city.
Let's see those names. Mrs. Tony Coretta, Water Street. And Mrs. Marty Hooker, West End Avenue. Cato, you really did get something.
You recognize names, Mr. Brick?
Yes. Both of these names were on our neediest families list last year. Both Tony Coretta and Marty Hooker are in prison. And both their families are living comfortably.
What all that mean?
It means Ray Spencer is involved in a deal somewhere. And I have a pretty good idea about the party place. The police can't go around the law to force the issue, but the Green Hornet can. Let's go. Stepping through a secret panel in the rear of the closet in his bedroom, Brick Reed and Cato went along a narrow passageway built within the walls of the apartment itself. This building led to an adjoining building, which fronted on a dark side street. Though supposedly abandoned, this building served as a hiding place for the sleek, superpowered Black Beauty, streamlined car of the Green Hornet. Brick Reed pressed a button. The great car roared into life. A section of the wall in front raised automatically, then closed as the gleaming Black Beauty sped into the darkness.
Where we go, Mr. Brick?
Cato, I have a list of 7 families. The husbands are all in prison. I'm calling each of their homes. But first, we'll go to Mrs. Coretta's and Mrs. Hooker's.
Well, Mrs. Coretta live in middle of next block.
Now turn off into the back alley. You can wait there for me. Then we'll head for Hooker's. If they react the way I think they will, Ray Spencer will be stopped once and for all. Mrs. Coretta?
Maria Coretta, that's me. It's dark in the hall, but why you ask for me?
I'll come inside.
No. You're not come in like that. That mask, it's not good. Please, you're not
I won't hurt
to
you
me.
if you do what I say. Give me the money you received this afternoon.
Oh, you're making a mistake. I know how to get the money.
Give it to me.
Oh, sure, I give it. It's in my bag. You just not sure, Maria. I get it.
All right, give it here.
Maria, she not having the money for us to live.
If you have any complaints, tell them to the man who sent me. Mr. Ray Spencer.
Spencer? He sent you here?
You heard me. I'll leave now.
That's a big Spencer. He pulled the double cross. Double on my Tony. I make him sorry. I go tell him my Tony tonight. got you understand every word I've been saying. I'll be thinking... Oh, Larry B. Now, who can be calling at a time like this? Oh, thanks be praised. 'Tis the devil himself.
Let me in.
I'm not a cloven foot. Will you be sitting in me house?
I'm already inside. Close the door.
Sure, and I know you're that Green Hornet. But 'tis Magee Hooky you're backing up against it.
Give me the money you received a while ago.
So that's it, is it? Well, not a penny will I be given to the likes of you, so you can be taking yourself out of here right now.
I'd hate to use this gun on a woman. But if you don't...
Merciful heavens, I believe you would.
I'm waiting.
All right. I'll be giving it to you.
Hurry.
Now, quiet your spalpeen. You can have the money. But if you scare that innocent little babe, I'll be tearing you apart, gun or no gun. Here's the money, you thieving devil.
Thanks. Spencer said it would be easy to get.
Hold on. Did I hear you speak of Mr. Spencer?
Yes, you heard me.
So he sent you here. Oh, 'tis a filthy game to be playing on me poor husband. But 'tis St. Pat who'll bear me witness. I'll tell Matt Spencer into the law. And you're with him, that I will. I'll call me friend Pat to the headquarters right now. Do what you will.
Time for me to go. Good night, Mrs. Hooker.
That's you, Mr. Brisk?
Yes, Cato. My plan's working out. Let's get moving.
Where do we go next?
I have a few more places to visit. Tomorrow, Cato, after things quiet down, you can mail the money I'm taking back to each of those women. After that, the center will see to it that none of them are suspect. Step on it. Through one dark back street of the city after another, the sleek car of the Green Hornet moved like a great purring shadow. Frequent stops were made until finally, each of the places listed on a paper in Britt Reed's pocket had been visited. Then Britt and Cato returned to the apartment to await results. It was after midnight when Sergeant Burke entered the press room at police headquarters.
What's the news, Sarge? Is there anything to it all?
Plenty, expert. You did well to hang around instead of going out with the other seat.
Give it to me, then.
Hold your horses. I got to send a couple of the boys out. Cassidy.
Yes, sir?
Take one of the boys with you and pick up Ray Spencer.
Okay, right away.
Ray Spencer? Why are you picking him up?
We got a call from several women who claimed the Hornet came there and took back money Spencer was paying them. It was a bargain he made with her husband.
What do you mean?
Spencer pulled jobs like that payroll holdup. Then got some poor starving guy with a family to take the rap. In return, he promised to pay a weekly sum to the wife. Get it?
Holy crow.
We got word that several of the guys have already seen the prison warden and retracted their confessions, putting the blame on Spencer.
Wait. I got to call Reed. Wait till he hears this. Why, I got a scoop this time. So he thinks I don't bring in any news, huh? He'll find out.
I bet he's sleeping.
So what?
Hello?
Reed, this is Ashford.
I might have known. Just when I get to sleep, you have to...
Hold on, Reed. The cops are picking up Ray Spencer. He paid a lot of guys to go to jail for him. You know, those poor guys whose families were on our list.
What do you know?
It was the Green Hornet working with Spencer who broke things open. He went to take back the dough from the families. The women squawked, and then the cops found out that the guys were...
The story's a rerun.
Well, not yet, but I'm going...
Santa Claus, you're wasting time. Get the story in.
Sure, Reed, but I'm trying to...
Did they pick up the Hornet yet?
The Hornet? Now, hold on, Reed. Don't you know it's a tough thing?
Call me when they do. Good night.
Reed, I want to...
Hung up on you, huh?
Did they pick up the Hornet yet, he says. Then call me when they do. Phooey. Sometimes I think Reed's losing what little part of mind he has. That I do.
You'll lose what little job you have if you don't get that story into the Sentinel.
Holy crow. Give me that phone, quick.
doesn't stand a chance against Dick Tracy. Up next.
And now, Dick Tracy!
This is Dick Tracy on the case of the crooked fingers. Stand by for action. Let's go, men.
Yes, it's Dick Tracy, protector of law and order.
Say, Tracy fans, you know that it's just 158 years ago today that the Bastille in Paris was stormed and its political prisoners set free? The Bastille was a great fortress that had been turned into a prison. It was regarded by the French as the symbol of their oppression. Stories circulated that the prisoners there were treated with inhuman cruelty, and so when the Parisians began to revolt in 1789, they launched their opening attack on this mighty prison. Taking it by storm, they released the prisoners. The men were carried out on the shoulders of the crowd as a symbol of the new liberty. The Bastille was torn down. Thomas Paine, the great American political writer who was in Paris at the time, was given the key which he sent to George Washington. A duplicate of this key lies in Philadelphia's Independence Hall today. So it was that 1789 became an important year in history because of the storming of the Bastille. For the attack symbolized the new spirit on earth, proclaiming all men had equal rights. No ruler had the authority to oppress his people. The message of the Bastille is one which free peoples everywhere still remember and fight for: liberty and equality for all.
And now, Dick Tracy.
Last Friday, Fingers, the sinister gem thief, was making a desperate attempt to escape in a speedboat, taking Captain Ash with him. But Dick Tracy and Pat Patton gave chase in a faster boat. And when Fingers realized that he was about to be overtaken, he threw Captain Ash overboard. In the delay caused by Tracy and Patton rescuing the old barge captain, Fingers and his boat disappeared in the fog, somewhere in the vicinity of Dead Man's Reef. But just as Friday's episode ended, the warning bell on the reef suddenly stopped ringing, and the boats are now running blindly toward the treacherous rocks.
Captain Ash, what happened to that big bell that was clanging so loudly a few minutes ago?
It was the bell on Dead Man's Reef.
Oh.
It's got fouled up somehow.
Are you thinking what I am?
Yeah, I sure am.
That would certainly be poetic justice.
Poetic or not, I'm betting that Fingers don't get away. He may know something about navigation, but he can't smell his way through this here channel like I can.
Now, would you mind translating that last conversation?
Rags and I have a little secret that we'll tell you about later.
Yeah, well, what's this about Fingers not being able to get away?
Just wait and see.
Yeah. Cut the motor on this boat so we can see if Fingers is still up ahead.
All right.
Yeah, he's still up ahead. Better not steer directly to where the sound of his motor's coming from. Better bear off a little to your right.
Oh, Captain Ash, you're wonderful. The way you can get through this channel in a fog even without the bell to help you.
I told you I could do it by smell. Better bear off a little further to the right.
What's the matter?
I can smell the rocks now.
Smell? Why do these things always happen to me?
Now, don't be self-centered, Pat. It's happening to Fingers, too. Only he has no Captain Ash to guide him.
Well, I just hope that last ducking in the ocean that Captain Ash got didn't do anything that his senses smelled.
It didn't, young fella. I can smell them rocks powerful strong right now. We're mighty close.
What should we do?
Hey, better cut the motor down and listen.
Well, there goes Fingers.
Hey, hit the reef.
I had a feeling he wasn't going to get away.
But he's still got that Tommy gun, so let's not just go blundering in there.
He hit that reef pretty hard, he made.
Help! Help!
Yeah, it's Fingers. He sounds pretty desperate.
Look at that glow through the fog over there.
Yeah, he's afire. His gas tanks must have split when he hit them rocks.
Maybe we can get to him. We just can't sit here and let him burn to death.
Help! Help!
Remember, them tanks may explode any minute.
But at least we have to see what we can do. Let's move in, but slow.
There's his boat half turned over and wedged in the rocks.
Yeah, look. The burning gasoline is spreading out on the water.
I better go back. This boat of ours would go up like matchwood if we tried to get through that there burning gasoline.
Oh, there's something we...
There was something. And that was it?
Yeah. It was the best way for him.
Yeah. No use even bothering to look for the body.
There's not enough of the board left to put in a small-sized aspirin box.
Well, so much for fingers. Now we'd better see what's the matter with the bell on Dead Man's Reef.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. Captain Ash and I have a surprise for you.
What is it?
You'll find out. Won't he, Captain Ash?
Yeah. Now, if you'll just turn this boat around, go back about 100 yards, we'll come to the bell.
All right. Is there any danger?
No, not unless I miss the buoy in this fog.
Oh, fine. That's like saying there's no danger in getting shot at if the gun's loaded with blanks.
Young fella, I won't miss the buoy.
How are we doing now?
Yeah, you better take it easy. We're almost there.
Hey, look up ahead, Captain Ash. There it is. My, but you're certainly a wonder.
I don't see a thing. That's because you don't know what to look for. See it there, all right?
Yeah, I see it now. What's the next move?
Pull up on the left-hand side.
Right.
Easy. Now, grab hold of the buoy while I reach up inside the bell and see what's keeping it from ringing.
Right.
Now, hold it steady. That's it. Yeah. Something slipped down and fouled up the bell clapper.
What is it, Captain Ash?
Just a minute. There, she's loose. Well, what do you know? The Torara Tiara.
Huh? Captain Ash, did you hide the tiara in that bell?
Well, let's say I put it there for safekeeping.
And it slipped down and kept the bell from ringing.
Holy smoke, Jim. And Fingers was really killed by the Torara tiara. The tiara he once said he'd risk burning to get.
Well, he burned all right.
Captain Ash, I can't tell you how glad I am to get this back. But you must realize that you're guilty of concealing stolen goods.
I know it. And I'm willing to take my medicine.
Of course, you did help us get rid of Fingers. And you showed us where the tiara was hidden.
And he kept us from running on the same reef that Fingers did.
Right. Well, all this will weigh in your favor, Captain Ash. And I'll add my personal recommendations of leniency. But in the final analysis, it'll be up to the district attorney.
He doesn't want leniency. He wants to pay in full.
Now, wait a minute, young man. Seems like you're in an awful hurry to send me to jail.
Oh, it won't be so bad, Captain Ash. After all, I'll be there, too.
Well, you're just full of sweetness and light today, Patrick. What's prompting this happy mood?
Principally the prospect of not having anything to do for a few days. Now that we've taken care of the Torara tiara and Fingers.
That's right. Chief hasn't a single case for us. Well, a day off won't hurt.
As a matter of fact, I'm thinking of retiring.
I'll believe that when I see it.
No, I'm serious, Richard. I feel that I've taught you enough to make a fair cop out of you. Now I shall retire to some pleasant cave and raise bats for haunted houses.
An occupation for which you're admirably suited.
Oh, thank you, Tracy. I'm glad that you can appreciate my profounder talents.
In the meantime, what do you suggest? Shall we go and see a good detective movie?
Oh, for the love of Pete, no. We'll find a nice, expensive restaurant, and you'll buy dinner for both of us.
Well, that sounds like as good a way as any to start off an evening, but somehow I think you're taking advantage of me.
Why, Richard, what a thing to say. You wrong me. Just to show you what a nice fellow I am, if you'll buy dinner, I'll spend my money on the rest of the evening's entertainment.
But I'm not sure that I want to go on a 3-hour streetcar ride.
That'll be enough out of you. Anyway, I have something very good in mind.
What's that, Pat?
Well, don't think I'm crazy, but there's a circus in town. What do you say we go see it, huh?
Patrick, for once you're behaving like a rational human being. That's a great idea. I haven't been to a circus in years.
Well, I'll describe the more important points to you so that you can follow the plot without too much trouble.
You're so good to me.
Now, when you see a creature with 2 humps and a face like a one-eyed beefsteak, it's called a dromedary.
Nothing doing. A dromedary has only 1 hump.
Richard, somewhere along the line you've been gravely misinformed. A dromedary has 2 humps.
You're off your rocker, Patrick, and I'll prove it to you when we get to the circus. Now, you take a camel. That's a different thing. The camel has...
While Tracy and Patton are discussing a matter that rightfully should be of more interest to a camel than to two detectives, a man and a woman, both of the circus, are talking of life and death.
Well, you took long enough to get here with us.
I am sorry, medium. I did the best I could. After all, I am the ringmaster. I have other duties besides dancing attendance on you.
They should be secondary.
I shall explain it to the owner of our circus.
Now, look at these clumsy apes. They have not even got my fortune-telling booth up.
Take it easy, medium rare. You ain't queen of the circus, you know.
Yes, I am. I am. I shall always be queen of the circus.
What did you say, medium?
Never mind. Stay here until these fools have put up my booth. I must talk to you alone.
What else can I do?
Okay, medium rare. Your place of business is ready for the circus.
I am a seeress. I tell the truth. I read the future.
Come off it, medium. You're a lady raghead and as big a fake as all the others.
I tell you, I know everything that is going to happen.
All right, I'll bite. What is going to happen?
The future is too precious a commodity to waste on idiots.
You couldn't even predict high tide with an almanac.
Very well, you fool. I will tell you what is in store for the circus tonight. Death will strike. Death with pounding hooves, beautiful, trampling, screaming death.
Don't you know better than to talk like that around a circus? You put a whammy on us. I'm getting out of here. You're bad medicine.
I tell the truth. I know the future.
What do you mean by that?
Snap your whip. I love to hear that sound. And when you crack your whip like that tonight in the center ring, Rosa the equestrian, the daring rider, will die.
In a moment, we'll return to Dick Tracy. But first, so you want to lead a band, huh? Well, so does everybody else, from tailors and sailors to fighters and writers. And they've all had their dream come true on Sammy Kaye's show, So You Want to Lead a Band. Every Monday night, 4 contestants are chosen from the audience, and then the musical battle begins. Each one tries his hand at conducting, and one by one, contestants drop out until the winner gets the grand prizes in the bandbox. And brother, what prizes! Refrigerators and nylons, electric ranges, prizes contestants of any age can come away with. Recently, 2 different generations were represented on the show. One was an 18-year-old high school student who was later selected as the nation's best amateur band leader. The other was a grandmother of 72 who provided a colorful addition to the proceedings by taking off her coat, pushing up her sleeves, and leading the band through a favorite Bobby Sox tune. In her enthusiasm, she forgot to stop the orchestra. The musicians sustained the final note with admirable endurance until Maestro Kay reminded her that the band stopped only when the conductor gave the signal. Help yourself to So You Want to Lead a Band Monday nights when it's heard on most of these ABC stations. Now, back to Dick Tracy.
Where is Simeon, my pet monkey?
I haven't seen her around, medium.
Find her with her and bring her to me, for she is the one who will help kill Rosa.
Just what kind of a circus show is it that Dick and Pat are going to see? You'd better tune in tomorrow for The Adventures of Dick Tracy, featuring Jeff Morrow and Carl Eastman, and heard overseas through the Armed Forces Radio Service. This is George Gunn speaking. Here's a listening tip for you boys and girls who like exciting adventure stories. We have a swell adventure show called Sky King, a daring two-fisted series about the thrilling exploits of Schuyler King, an ex-Naval Air Forces officer who is back home after 4 years in the Pacific. Yes, Sky has returned to his Flying Crown Ranch, but his adventures are liable to take him to the 4 corners of the earth. Remember, for suspense and thrills, for hair-raising adventure, join Sky King on his daring missions when he's heard weekdays, Mondays through Fridays, over most of these same ABC stations. Stay tuned now and tune in Sky King. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company. This is ABC.
One of old-time radio's longest-running and most popular programs, CBS Mystery Theater, is up next.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall, and I want very much to tell you the story of a young lady named Barbara. Everyone is more or less mad on one point, said Rudyard Kipling, the famous English writer. And I'm inclined to agree with him, since I myself am more or less mad on the point of mystery. But our sweet heroine's madness took a strange turn, as we shall soon discover in the unfolding of the tale entitled All Living Things Must Die. Our mystery drama, All Living Things Must Die, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Elspeth Eric and stars Mercedes McCambridge. It is sponsored in part by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal, and by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Great taste in the morning. Kellogg's has that wholesome taste to get you up and grinning.
This is Jerry Coffer for Kellogg's Special K. You know, for years we've been talking about the Special K breakfast, a great way to start the day if you have a weight problem. You may have seen or heard our latest commercials, which symbolize the problem of being a few pounds overweight by using this ball and chain. That's the sound effect. But so many people have come to know the Special K breakfast that can help solve weight problems, they sometimes forget that Special K is America's favorite high-protein cereal. It has 8 essential vitamins and iron, and so delicious that lots of folks, kids as well as adults, eat Special K just for the sheer good taste of it. So we don't want you to think that you have to wear a ball and chain to eat Special K. All you need is an appreciation for the finer things of life, a 1-ounce bowl of Special K, 4 ounces of skim milk, tomato juice, coffee, and maybe a little sugar. The Special K breakfast can help you lose weight all by itself, but it really is a good start.
No matter what you're saving for, that's what Suburban Savings for Suburban.
Suburban Savings offers you an easy way to borrow without touching a penny in your regular savings passbook account. Just let Suburban loan you the money. It's called Suburban Savings Passbook Loan. You can borrow up to 90% of the total amount you have on deposit at reasonable rates, and you can pay off your loan at your convenience. When your loan is repaid, you still have all of your savings intact, plus interest. So if you need money, why not take a loan from Suburban without touching your savings? Suburban Savings Passbook Loan in New Jersey at Bayonne, Edgewater, Elmwood Park, Emerson, Hackettstown, Morris Plains, Nutley, Paramus, and Sparta.
Now begins our story of the lightly demented Barbara. A lovely lady of 31 or 2, even 4 or 5. But as we now discover her in the living room of her suburban home, she could be younger than springtime. She could be spring itself.
I love you. I love you all. You are my darlings, my pets, my very own treasures. Oh, how beautiful you are, and how much I love you. Why? Oh, that can't be Frank. He never forgets his key. Oh, it's...
Johnson, ma'am. Detective Sergeant Johnson from the other day.
Oh, yes. Come in. I didn't realize you'd be back.
Well, I was just checking up. Had any more of those obscene phone calls?
No, not one. And it's such a relief you can't imagine.
Mm-hmm. You had your number changed.
Yes. And that seems to have done the trick, all right.
Well, good. Now, a lady like you shouldn't be bothered by things like that.
Well, there's one other thing I hate to mention.
No, go ahead. Mention anything you want to. We're here to serve.
Well, it could be my imagination, but every once in a while, I see a man sort of hanging around across the street, not doing anything in particular, but just hanging around.
Mm-hmm. Any special time of day?
Yes, usually about this time. I see him through this window when I'm putting my plants to bed.
Oh, you tuck them in, do you?
Well, sort of. I talk to them, and sometimes I sing them a lullaby. I know that sounds silly, but, well, that's what I do. And then sometimes through the window, I think I see this man.
Well, it's kind of hard to see out this window, ma'am. The plants sort of get in the way.
Yes, I know they do, but they like it here. I tried other places, but they weren't happy, so...
They are happy here, huh?
Well, they haven't complained. Although I'm not sure about Annabelle. This one is Annabelle. That's Arthur. And that's Kenneth.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Marianne. And that spider plant over there is Michael.
Oh, Michael's in great shape, isn't he?
Oh, yes, he is. Are you laughing at me? Please don't.
Do I look like I'm laughing?
My husband laughs at me sometimes.
I wouldn't know why.
Oh, because... Now, you see this one, Marianne?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you take a close look because you won't see a Marianne every day in the week.
Well, Marianne is, well, she looks like ivy to me.
Yes, but her leaves are heart-shaped. Can't you see? Each one is shaped like a perfect little heart.
You know, you're right.
Yes. There are more than 200 varieties of ivy. Did you know that?
No, I never did.
Hey, what's going on here?
Oh, Frank. He's my husband. Frank, this is Detective Sergeant Johnson.
Ed Johnson.
How are you?
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Murray.
He came to check up on those phone calls.
Oh, yeah, from the degenerate. I told Barbara she should answer him back in his own language.
Oh, Frank, please.
Let him have it. Give it to him right between the eyes. The ears, I should say, in this instance.
Well, I'll be getting along.
Well, I'll show you to the door.
Say, listen, why can't you catch those freaks?
Thank you for coming around, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, sure. I'll stop by again if it's all right with you.
Oh, anytime, practically. I'm almost always here.
And, take good care of Annabelle.
Oh, I will.
And don't let Michael grow too fast.
I'll do my best.
Good night, Mrs. Murray.
Good night, Sergeant Johnson. And thank you.
Now, don't you mention it.
What was all that about?
Oh, I told you. The phone call.
I mean, all that whispering, all that bzz at the door just now.
Oh, we weren't whispering.
Well, what were you talking about? That I wasn't supposed to hear?
Nothing. He just said, I don't know, something about the plants, that's all.
What does he know about plants?
Well, nothing much. When he was here the first time, and just now before you came in, I told him about them. He knows that I talked to them and that they have names. He was just being friendly, Frank.
That's being friendly? Dropping in all the time when I'm not here?
Only twice. This was only the second time.
He's a kook like you. Freaked out over a bunch of plants.
Well, he was only expressing an interest.
What's interesting about a bunch of plants with no flowers? Look at them. They take up the whole window. You got them strung all over the place, up to the ceiling, hanging down.
They're vines, Frank. There's silver lace and philodendron and ivy.
Oh, whatever they are, they're dumb. Plain dumb. I wouldn't object to a nice pot of tulips, something like that, sitting on a table. Like a nice spot of color or a hyacinth. They smell good. But these things...
Don't hurt them. Don't.
I got no use for them at all. Get rid of them, why don't you?
No, never. You can't make me.
Oh, boy, you sure cry easy. What did I say was so terrible?
You said get rid of them.
Well, all right. Forget I mentioned it. What's for dinner?
It's Swiss steak.
Again?
Well, it's been a whole week.
Well, get it on the table, because I got to get out of here early.
You mean you're going out?
I got a date to go bowling.
Tonight?
Well, certainly tonight. What do you think, next year?
But you were out last night and the night before.
And I may go out tomorrow night, and the night after that, so what?
Frank, I get so lonely.
Well, read a book, watch TV, listen to the radio.
But almost every night and all day.
Well, all right, talk to your plants. That's what you got them for, is it? Have a nice little conversation with Michael and Mary Louise and Archibald, whatever you call them.
Never mind. Just never mind.
Well, look, I'm going to take a quick shower and then we'll eat. 10 minutes on the outside, okay?
Okay. Oh, Arthur. Annabelle. Tell me that you love me. Marianne, do you love me? Michael. Kenneth. Oh, somebody love me. Please. Somebody love me or I'll die.
Hey, that Swiss steak wasn't bad at all.
Thank you.
Got any dessert?
Just fruit.
I'll take an apple with me.
Frank, don't go for a minute.
Well, I told you I got a date.
No, I want to talk to you about something.
I'll go ahead, but keep it short, will you?
Well, Frank, remember when we got married?
Well, how could I forget with you to remind me?
Well, you said then that you didn't want to have any children right away.
I don't believe in rushing into things like that.
Frank, that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
But isn't it different now?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I think I'm too old for kids.
Oh, you're only 45.
And by the time my kid grew up, I'd be an old man.
No, not really old.
Well, aren't you kind of old to be having a kid for the first time?
Frank, lots of women have children at my age. Lots of them.
I don't know if it's safe.
Yes, it is. It happens all the time, and I'm very healthy. I'm very strong.
You don't look too strong.
Well, I am, because the doctor said so.
When did you go to see a doctor?
Last week.
I don't like you doing that without asking me first.
Well, I wanted to be sure before I talked to you. And the doctor says it'd be perfectly all right for me to have a baby. As a matter of fact, he said it'd be the best thing in the world for me.
Well, I can't see it.
On account of the loneliness, Frank, I don't think you realize how lonely I get. That's why I talk to the plants and sing to them. Because I haven't got anybody else.
Well, make some friends, why don't you?
That's not easy for me.
Well, why not? I do it all the time.
Anyway, it's not the same as having somebody right here in the house with me all the time. It's not the same intimate kind of thing. If I had a baby... Oh, Frank, I wouldn't ask for anything else ever. And I'd give that baby so much love and attention. It would grow up to be the most marvelous person because it would know from the very beginning that it was loved and wanted. Oh, so much wanted.
Well, I don't want it. You got that? A kid is the last thing in the world I want.
Please.
No. I live in this house, too, you know. I don't want a kid running around, messing up everything, making a lot of noise, getting in the way all the time.
No, it wouldn't be like that.
Oh, yes, it would. No, I won't have a kid messing up my life, and that's final, so forget it, huh? You hear me? Forget it. Put it out of your mind. Okay? Well, I gotta get going. Guys are waiting for me at the bowling.
Frank.
All right, now what?
No, I won't keep you a minute.
I haven't got a minute.
Please, less than a minute.
Well, okay, spill it.
When I was at the supermarket this morning, there was this dog.
A dog? Oh, boy.
Really, a very pretty dog, and so sweet. And he was just wandering around. Nobody knew who he belonged to, or if he belonged to anybody. He's just a stray, as far as anybody knows.
No dog.
And he has this cute little tail that curls up right over his back, and great ears that stand up straight and then flop over. And he's mostly black with a kind of white face.
Barbara, we've been through all this. I will not have a dog in my house. Now, that is how it is, and I don't want to talk about it now or never. You understand that?
Yes.
I gotta go.
Frank?
I said I gotta go.
Just one more thing. There's this man hanging around outside.
What man? Hanging around where?
I was telling Detective Johnson about it. This man sort of hangs around across the street. And I thought, if he's a prowler or a dangerous kind of person, well, a dog would be protection for me, see, when I'm alone.
What makes you think this guy's dangerous?
I don't know that he is, but every night now when I'm watering the plants just before you come home, I can see him through the window, just sort of standing there and looking around.
This window?
Yes. He looks kind of shifty, Frank. And if I had a dog, I'd feel safe.
I can't see it.
Yes, right across the street.
I can't see on account of these dumb plants.
Don't hurt them.
Why do they have to grow them so damn
But
long?
just part them very carefully. Here, let me.
Oh, no, I can do it.
There. Can you see that man?
I see him. Barbara, you're a nut, you know that?
Why am I?
That's the guard they hired at the high-rise. They pay him to watch the building. Of course he's here every night. That's what he's paid for.
I didn't know that.
Are you trying to con me into letting you have a dog for protection? But it won't work, Barbara. The answer's still the same. No dog, no baby. Just be happy with these dumb plants. They're bad enough. Taking up the whole bloody window, spilling all over the place.
I hate you.
Yeah, look, I'll let you keep them.
I hate you. I wish you were dead.
What did you say?
I said I hate you. I wish you were dead.
Did you really say... Hey, what? What's this? The bloody plants are on my neck.
Oh.
Hey, Barbara, they're all around me. They're choking. Yeah, I can't get them off. Hey, Barbara. Barbara, they're too strong. Barbara, don't stand there. Get them off. No. Get the scissors. Barbara, the scissors.
I hate you. I hate you. I want you dead.
We'll return shortly for the second act of All Living Things Must Die.
Hi, I'm Goldilocks, Ms. Goldilocks, if you please, and I'm a professional taste tester. Here at my taste test laboratory, that's TTL for short, I taste test everything from porridge to diet drinks. Actually, there's not that much taste testing in porridge these days. There used to be. Once upon a time. I mean, that's how this Ms. got into the biz. But lately it's been diet drinks. I mean, with so many diet drinks going sugar-free, I've been really busy conducting taste tests. A rather unbearable assignment, to be sure. But then I discovered sugar-free diet 7-Up. Fresh, natural, delicious. My only problem is that sugar-free diet 7-Up tastes so good that it broke my Goldilocks diet drink taste-o-meter. Well, sugar-free diet 7-Up certainly has my seal of approval. This one's just right.
Hey, Mom, what's for dinner? Hey, Mom, what you got?
It's time to get ready for the great outdoors, and your ShopRite supermarket has everything you'll need for cookout dinners and fun in the sun. And for this week's dinners, ShopRite is featuring whole grade A frying chickens, just 37 cents a pound. Roasting chickens up to 4 pounds, 47 cents a pound. Choice rib steaks, $1.19 a pound. ShopRite Franks, 89 cents a pound. Get all your outdoor cooking equipment and many great food values at your ShopRite supermarket.
She loves the family. She wants the best. She does all that she can do. She lets ShopRite do the rest. Hey, Ma, what's for dinner? ShopRite has the answer.
Macy's store-wide spring sale blossoms all this week with beautiful values in every department, every Macy's store. Values like a 40-piece Nyko ironstone service for $8, regularly $55, now just $39.99. And hand-cut lead crystal selection of Hostess items, regularly $15 to $25, now $9.99 to $14.99. Save in every department all this week. Macy's store-wide spring sale. This is WOR New York, an RKO General Station.
Now for the second act of All Living Things Must Die. It is a year later, and our heroine no longer lives in the little suburban house, nor is her name Barbara Murray. She lives in a cheery little 2-room apartment, and she is married to Detective Sergeant Ed Johnson. But Kenneth and Arthur and Mary Ann and Michael and Annabelle, all the plants are grouped together in the largest window, and all appear to be in the best of health.
Baby boat's a silver moon sailing on the sea. Oh, he's home. Ed?
Hello, sweetheart.
Hello, darling.
Hey, watch out.
What have you got there?
Oh, just a little addition to the family.
What? What is it?
Well, let me get the paper off, will you?
Okay.
How's that, huh?
Ed. Oh, it's beautiful.
You know what it's called?
Yes, do you?
Sure, Purple Passion Plant.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I thought it was very appropriate for two people who've been married a month.
Oh, it is, Ed. It's beautiful. And you were so sweet to think of it.
Well, there's something else I've been thinking of.
What's that?
Honey, is it too soon for us to be thinking about having a baby?
A baby?
Well, you do want us to have a baby, don't you, Barbara?
Well, I guess so.
I brought the subject up too soon. I can see that. Dumb me. I'm sorry.
No, that's right.
No. I was stupid. Forget I mentioned it, huh? Only, it doesn't do any harm to think about it a little, does it?
No. I guess it doesn't do any harm to think about it. Oh, Cleopatra. You're growing very nicely, dear. It would take a little while before you'll be as long as Annabelle. And you'll probably never be as long as Michael. But then very few plants are. But you're so healthy and strong. And I love your purple leaves. You're very beautiful, my darling. Yes, you are. Oh, he's home. Darling? Darling, you're home.
Yep, I'm home. Hey, look what I brought with me.
Why? Oh, no, it's a dog.
Uh-huh.
Oh, isn't he darling?
Yeah. He wandered into the station house about a week ago. We've been feeding him, and he's been sleeping there.
Look, his tail curls up over his back.
Yeah, he's got a great disposition.
Oh, my. Doesn't he belong to anybody?
Well, we advertised in the paper 3 days running. Nobody answered the ad.
You mean he's got no home? Nobody wants him?
Well, not unless you do.
You mean I can have him? He can live here with us?
Well, would you like
that? Oh,
that?
yes.
Dog, I guess you got a home.
Oh, I love him.
Dog, you got yourself a mother.
Look at him. Look how he's looking at you.
Yeah. Come here, dog. Come here.
Oh, he loves you. You can see it in his eyes. He just loves you.
Well, I'm his father, aren't I? Hey, dog, do you love your father?
Of course he loves you. How could he help but love you? How could anybody help but love you?
Well, there's only one person has to love me. That's you.
Uh-huh.
But you have to, baby. It's absolutely necessary. It's essential that you love me, because if you don't, it's the end of me.
Oh, Ed, I love you so much. I can't even talk about it. Just believe me. I love you, and I love you, and I love you. When you're here and when you're not here, and when you're asleep and when you're awake, and when you talk and when you don't talk, and when you look at me and when you don't. I love you all the time.
Hey, that's a lot of love.
I've got more.
More?
Anytime you need it.
Barbara. Honey, look, we've been married better than half a year now. When are we going to start having a baby?
Oh, I don't know.
Pretty soon?
I guess.
You want one, don't you, honey?
Yes.
Well, when do we?
Well, sometime.
Well, sweetheart, we're not kids anymore.
I know that.
You think I'm putting the pressure on you? No, I shouldn't do that. I didn't mean to.
No, that's all right.
No, I won't do that anymore. You just got to tell me when you think is the right time. I won't bother about it anymore. Now, what are we going to name the dog?
I don't know.
How about Cuthbert or Lance?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Herman? Dwight?
No, I don't want to give him any name like that. I want to call him what you called him.
Me? I never called him
Yes,
anything.
you did. You called him Dog. That's what I want to call him.
D-A-W-G? Dog?
Yes, come here, Dog.
Hey.
Oh, what a lovely dog you are, Dog. Hi, darling.
Hello, love. How do you feel?
I feel marvelous.
Well, you look marvelous. How's the family?
Well, I've been giving Annabelle a little too much water, but everybody else is fine.
Oh, I brought you a present. The first anniversary present.
Well, I have one for you, too.
Here. That's an engagement ring. You never had one.
Oh, Ed, this is lovely.
Do you like it?
Oh, yes, I love it. Almost as much as I love you, and Dog, and Annabelle, and Kevin.
Hey, watch it.
And I got you a ring, too.
What?
Yes, a wedding ring, because you never had one.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's real nice. Is it okay for a man to wear this?
Well, it just shows everybody that you're married.
Well, everybody knows I'm married.
Does everybody really know you're married?
Well, I talk about it all the time.
Do
They
you
sure-
really? Do you
sure.
talk about it?
Well, I'm married to you, so naturally it's you I talk about.
I bet you bore everybody to tears.
Yeah, I bet I do. Of course, there always comes a time when they break in and say, any kids? You got any kids?
Yes, I suppose they do say that.
And, of course, I say no, and they say, well, why not? And I don't know what to say.
Ed, I'm so sorry.
Honey, why not? You have to tell me.
Well, it's a feeling that I have.
Well, don't you want to, baby? I always thought you were the kind of woman who'd want a family.
It's hard to explain.
Well, you've got to try.
Okay, I'll try. Only yet I don't think you're going to like what I'm going to tell you.
Anything. I want to hear anything you have to tell me.
Well, I have to go back to the night that Frank died.
Frank?
Yeah.
What's Frank got to do with it?
I'm going to tell you if you listen.
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Well, you remember when I called you that night and I told you that Frank was dead? You remember that?
Yeah, sure. Of course I remember.
And you came over with the others and you asked me how it happened.
Yeah?
And I said I didn't know. I said that Frank was going to go out bowling and he must have been in a hurry. And the room was dark. And he must have stumbled into the plants and got tangled up in them and he couldn't get out.
Yeah, but he was strangled by the plants, baby. It was a freak accident.
No, that isn't what happened at all.
Honey, are you trying to tell me... I don't know. Are you trying to tell me that you pushed him or something? That you wrapped the plants around his neck?
I didn't.
All right, now, wait a minute. Maybe you better tell it to me from the beginning.
Well, you remember Frank came home that day while you were still here.
Uh-huh.
And then you left. And he told me to hurry up with dinner because he was going out. And I got upset. I told him I get so lonely here. Lonely every night. Almost every day.
Read a book, watch TV, listen to the radio, talk to your plants. That's what you got them for, isn't it?
So after dinner, I said I wanted to talk to him about having a baby.
A kid is the last thing in the world I want.
And I think maybe it was then that I got the idea.
What idea?
It just seemed awfully important to me to get Frank over by the window where the plants were hanging. So I told him that there'd been a man hanging around outside across the street.
What man? Hanging around where?
And he started walking toward the window. And I started feeling this awful, wild excitement. The nearer he got to the window, the nearer he got to the plants. And then I said it.
Said what, honey?
I hate you. I said, I hate you. At first, Frank didn't hear me. Or maybe he didn't believe his ears, but I said it again. I hate you. And then I said, I wish you were dead. He heard me say that.
Then what happened?
He started to look angry, and he made a little move toward me, and it was then, when he started to move, that the plants moved. They moved faster than anyone would think plants could move, and they wound themselves around his neck, around and around, and tighter and tighter. And Frank began to choke.
Barbara, they're all around my neck. They're choking me.
Oh, no.
I can't get them off. Don't stand there. Get them off. Get the scissors.
No.
Barbara, the scissors.
Because there were scissors there, you know, on the windowsill. And Frank couldn't reach them because the plants were holding him so tight and tighter all the time. And I knew the scissors were there. I kept them there all the time, just the way I do now, to cut off the dead leaves and things. But I didn't move. I just stood there, repeating those awful words. I hate you. I hate you. I wish you were dead.
Barbara. Barbara.
I watched his face turn purple and then blue. And then he dropped to the floor. And I watched him drop. And I looked at him. But all I said was, dead.
Oh, darling.
I listened to the plants for a while. They seemed to be telling me, see how we love you. See, we'll do anything you ask. We are your true loves. We've killed for you. Now you know how much we love you. And then I went to the phone and called you.
Darling, you had a bad dream, that's all.
No, it wasn't a dream. I made the plants do what they did, don't you see? I said I wanted Frank dead, and they heard me. Or they felt what I was feeling, or they sensed it or something. And because they love me and because they know that I'd never kill anybody,
of course
they
not.
went ahead and did it for me.
Sweetheart, even if what you say is true, if it could be
It
true,
is
you
true.
never laid a finger on
But
Frank.
I'm an accessory, don't you see? I wanted someone to kill Frank. Not me, but someone. And the plants knew it, and they killed him for me.
Do you think anybody's going to believe you, sweetheart?
Ed, do you believe me?
Honey, is this why you don't want to have a baby?
Oh, I want to, but
But what?
that's how it all started. Me asking Frank if I could have a baby.
Why don't you try asking me? You know what kind of an answer you'll get, don't you? Go ahead. Ask me.
Ed, is it all right? Is it? Hello. This is Mrs. Ed Johnson. Yes. Well, I saw the doctor a couple of days ago, and he was going to have a test made to see if I... Oh, you can't tell me. It is? Really? Really? Yes, I believe you. Thank you very much. It's true. It's really true, dog. Michael, Marianne, I'm going to have a baby. Annabelle, it's true. Kenneth, Cleopatra, Arthur, finally, I'm going to have a baby. What do you think about that? Are you pleased? Are you happy? Tell me what you think, because you're very important to me. Yes, you're my best friend. I'm not young anymore, and there are people who think I'm, well, strange. I'm too emotional, that's what they think. And they may be right. How do I know? So please, tell me, because I trust you. Is it all right for me to have a baby? You really think so? Ed! Ed, it's true! I just called the doctor's office and they told me it's true. I'm going to have a baby, Ed. Tell me, is it really all right?
We'll be back shortly with Act 3.
When you say Budweiser,
When you say Bud, you've said a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say Bud, you've gone as far as you can go to get the very best. Yeah. When you say Bud, you tell the world you know what makes it all the way. When you say Bud, you say you care enough to only want the king of beers.
there is no other one. Only something less.
Something less.
The king of beer is leading all the rest.
When you say Budweiser, you said it all. You said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Macy's store-wide spring sale blossoms all this week with beautiful values in every department, every Macy's store. Values like all wool pile oriental design rugs, regularly $200, now just $150. Save in the rug department on worsted wool, imported, woven Saruk, and Kerman designs. Save in every department all this week. Macy's store-wide spring sale.
Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad for things that make a happy day? Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad you found the love to grow and stay? Aren't you glad that we're pulling together? Aren't you glad that we're feeling free? Aren't you glad? 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 Aren't you glad just to be? Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad for feeling cool and clean all day? Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad you've done your best to stay that way? Aren't you glad? Glad we're getting together. Aren't you glad that the people smile? Aren't you glad you use style? Aren't you glad you use style? Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad you use style? Aren't you glad?
We're still in a little two-room apartment, and the plants still hang in the window, but everything else is different, for it is precisely 8 months since we last heard her voice.
There. They're gone. Ed, they're gone.
What's that, honey?
The movers have gone. They took the last chair out just now.
Oh.
I hope they don't break anything.
Oh, sweetie, they won't. Don't worry about it.
I don't worry about anything anymore.
Do you mean that?
Sometimes I try to worry, because after all, I used to worry all the time. I mean, I worried all my life, but now I can't worry. I've forgotten how. It's being pregnant.
Well, maybe I ought to try it.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you, you know that.
How come?
Being a man. You can't ever be happy the way I'm happy.
I've got my own way.
I feel so complete, so...
So fulfilled?
I guess so. As though there'd been something missing from the day I was born. And now I've got it. I was so unfinished before, but now I'm complete.
Just you wait till we get settled in the new apartment, baby. Wait till we get the little baby's room decorated and the crib moved in and all that other stuff.
Shouldn't we go over there now?
Well, I suppose we ought to give the movers time to get there.
No, I want to go now. I can't wait.
Yeah, neither can I. Oh, honey.
Isn't it wonderful how we always seem to feel the same way?
Oh, honey, you never have that other feeling anymore, do you?
What feeling?
You know about how Frank died, the plants.
Oh, that.
You don't ever feel that maybe you shouldn't Have a baby.
Oh, no.
Well, you know, when you first found out, you weren't too sure.
Oh, but that was 8 months ago. That was before I started feeling the baby grow. Before I knew that it was going to be my baby, my child. And then I knew that if there ever was anything that was right, having this baby was that thing.
And Frank? You ever think about him, about that night?
I'm not sure it ever happened. I mean, I'm not sure it happened the way I said. I think probably you were right. I dreamed the whole thing.
It was an accident, Barbara. Frank and the plants. It was a freak accident.
I guess so. Now, come on, let's go over to the new apartment. Movers ought to be almost there.
Yeah, okay. I'll take the plants down.
Oh, no. I want to do that.
No, honey, no. I don't want you doing things like that. Not now. 8 months. Holy cow.
Oh, don't be silly. I know just how they're tied up because I did it myself in the first place. Come on, hand me the scissors. They're right there.
Baby.
Now you cut the string.
I think I ought to.
No, really. They wouldn't like anybody else touching them. I know what you can do. You can get those cartons we saved to pack them in and all that tissue paper. Go on, you do that. That'd be a big help.
Okay, if you say so. Oh, here's the scissors.
Right. Only take a minute.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Now then, here we go. Now, Cleopatra, let's get you down first. No, Michael, you'll have to wait until last because you're so long and strong. It'd be hard to separate you from the others. Oh, gee, it's hard to reach. I don't know if I can... Oh, maybe I should have let Ed take you down. My arms hurt. Isn't that funny? I never had any trouble before. Well, of course, it's being pregnant. It's this baby I'm carrying around with me. Are you a boy? Or are you a girl? Or are you twins? I think you're twins. Wouldn't that be heavenly? An old lady like me having twins. A boy and a girl. Oh, I don't care. I don't care about anything anymore. Except my husband and my child. I don't even care about the plants. Isn't that strange? For so long, so many years, they were my dearest friends. They were my only friends. And now, they just don't matter anymore. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave them. Right here. You don't need them. We've got a new place to live. We're going to have a baby. We have each other. We don't need these old plants anymore. They can just stay right here. Ed! I just decided that we don't... Ooh. No, don't. Get away. Get away from me. Ed, it's the plants. They're choking me. Ed, the plants.
Yeah, I got the cart. Barbara. Oh, my God.
They're choking me. The scissors. Quick. I can't breathe.
All right, I've got him. It's all right. It's going to be all right. Barbara. It's all right. Barbara, it's going to be all right. What'd the doctor say?
He says I'm all right. I can go home.
Did you tell him?
How could I tell him? I made up something. I said I got tangled up in the clothesline. That was the first thing that came into my head. Anyhow, he didn't ask me many questions because he could see that I wasn't really hurt. I was just scared.
Oh, you sure had me scared.
Well, they didn't hurt me much, really, the plants.
Well, why should they hurt you at all? You love those plants.
Ed. While I was taking them down, it was harder than I thought it would be, and my arms got tired.
Well, I told you to let me do it.
And I stopped for a minute, and then I thought, why am I bothering with these plants? Taking them down and carting them to the new place and then putting them up all over again. So I thought, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave them. I'm happy. I've got everything I want. I don't need them. I even think I said that out loud. And they heard me.
Now, Barbara.
But it wouldn't have made any difference. They didn't have to hear me say it out loud. Because they knew what I was thinking.
Honey.
No, you see, you can't live that close to somebody for so long and so close without knowing what she's thinking. And they knew that I was going to go off and leave them. After all our years together, I was going to abandon them. I didn't care anymore what happened to them. And they knew that.
Oh, no, it's just hard to conceive of plans.
They wouldn't have killed me, Ed. They didn't even really mean to hurt me. They were just saying, don't go. Or if you must go, take us with you. You can see that, can't you?
All I know is I came into the room and I saw you with the vines around your throat and you were saying, joking me. Get the scissors. Well, I got those scissors so fast. They were right there on the windowsill, and I cut those vines so fast. Boy, you had me worried, baby.
Oh, you must have fainted by then.
Yeah, and I picked you up and put you in the car, and you came to before we got to the hospital.
And here I am, and I'm all right.
Yeah. Barbara, you don't suppose I hurt the plants, do you? I just slashed away.
Well, I don't suppose you cut them down very carefully.
Oh, heck no.
Oh, they'll be all right. I'll trim them properly when we get back.
You're not going to leave them there? You're going to take them to the new apartment?
Yes. Yes, I am. I don't know what I was thinking of. How could I just go off and leave the things that I've loved and that have loved me? I can't walk out on them. I forgot that. And they were trying to remind me.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But then you always are.
Well, I'm right about this.
Yeah. Well, let's go, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, poor Cleopatra.
Why, poor Cleopatra?
Well, I knocked her on the floor.
You what?
Yeah, when I was trying to cut you loose, I knocked Cleopatra on the floor, broke the pot and everything.
You mean she's lying there? The pot is broken and she's lying there on the floor with no dirt?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, Ed, come on.
Now, Barbara.
No, hurry up. We've got to get there before she dies.
Look, honey, please, let me do it.
There she is. There's Cleopatra.
Let me do it, honey. You just stay there. Let me
Look
pick
out,
her up.
Ed. They're angry. Ed, they're coming for you.
No, it's all right.
Ed, please get out of the way. Stand back. Let me do it.
You think they're going to let you do it?
Of course they are. Of course they are. Aren't you, my darling? Aren't you? Ed, hand me that earthen pot, the one right there. No. Your roots haven't been out of the earth for very long, my love. Now, gently. No, I'm not hurting her. See, Michael? I'm being very gentle. I'm putting the good earth in the pot. See, Michael? Ed, get me some water, just a little.
Honey, I don't like leaving you
Don't
here.
be silly.
with
I'll be perfectly all right.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Now, you see, Michael? I'm scooping up every last bit of the nice brown earth, and I'm sifting it through my fingers. See, Annabelle? See, all of you? Oh, very carefully with the beautiful, loose brown earth.
Here you are.
Now, we put a little water in. Not very much, because the earth wasn't very dry. There's some plant food on the windowsill.
Yeah, I got it. Here you are.
Now, we mix just a little of it into the soil. There we are, like that. And now, Cleopatra, my love, let me pick you up. I'll hold you for a second. And don't be frightened, my dear. No. And put your little roots into the dirt. Very gently, very carefully. And press the dirt down around them. And then we add the rest of the dirt, almost to the top. And we press it down. Not too hard, just enough to make you feel safe and secure. There we are. You see, Michael? Marianne? Annabelle, see? She's going to be all right.
You think she really will be?
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm going to set her here on the windowsill and let the sun pour all over her.
Well, shouldn't you start taking down the other plants?
No, not yet. They've had an awful shock.
Yeah, but, honey, the furniture movers at the other apartment, they must be going crazy wondering where we are.
Well, you go. You take the car and go over there.
What about you?
Come back for me later.
Okay. Like, in an hour?
Well, make it a couple of hours.
Okay, baby.
Baby boats of silver moon sailing on the sea. Yes, my dear ones, rest, my darling. Sail, baby, sail out across the sea. Only don't forget to sail home again to me. Only don't forget to sail home again to me.
The next time you pass by a plant, stop and look. Make a little bow or tip your hat. And if its leaves flutter and make a sound, listen. It may be trying to tell you something. I'll be back shortly.
Commuting. We're big on that. Time is money in the business world. That's why Ozark offers commuter flights that get you there and back the same day. Don't ever let a few hundred miles stand between you and big business opportunities. If you're long on work but short on time, let Ozark make your day pay off. Commuting, we're big on that. Jet to Champaign, Urbana, Peoria, and Springfield, Illinois. Call Ozark or your travel agent. Macy's store-wide spring sale blossoms all this week with beautiful values in every department, every Macy's store. Values like Lee's Broadloom. Save $2 to $4 a square yard installed over sponge rubber padding. 35 styles, 500 colors. Regularly $12.99 to $21.99 a square yard. Now sale priced $9.99 to $17.99. Save in every department all this week. Macy's store-wide spring sale.
Our cast included Mercedes McCambridge, Larry Haynes, and Ralph Bell. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by new sugar-free diet 7-Up. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The WR Mystery Theater has been brought to you by ShopRite Supermarkets, where you get a lot more for a little less, and by Suburban Savings with offices throughout North Jersey. The preceding Mystery Theater program was furnished by the CBS Radio Network. Stand by now for a chilling moment from tomorrow night's WOR Mystery Theater drama.
You belong to her now, Claude. You belong to Venus.
What are you saying?
You made a vow to the statue.
I was only joking. We were all only joking.
Perhaps. But she took it seriously.
But it's only a statue.
It's the statue that stood in the shrine of the Temple of Venus. It is the Venus herself.
But what does she want?
She wants you.
I didn't mean it. You saw it was all in fun.
She wants you, Claude. She wants to love you. And then, as she's done so many times in the past, she'll kill you.
Tomorrow night's thriller is called Venus Deal. It features Norman Rose and Joan Lovejoy and will be heard following Fulton Lewis at 7 o'clock right here on WOR Radio, the talk of New York.
Boy, if the old-timer Horatio K. Boomer and Wally Wimple could see me now. Fibber Magee back on the radio right here from 79 Wistful Vista with a brand-new program where I'm going to bring back the great old radio shows from way back. Shows like Mr. Keene, Lum and Abner. Well, I guess I ought to get this place straightened up a bit, though. Where's that vacuum? Oh, I left it in the hall closet. Oh, look.
Hear the good old days of radio tonight at 9:05 right here on WOR New York and RKO General Station.
I'm Fulton Lewis in the Mutual Broadcasting System studios in Washington, D.C. Now, my commentary. President Nixon goes before the television cameras and radio microphones tonight to explain to the nation why he will only partially comply with the House Judiciary subpoena for tape recordings of some 42 White House conversations. It is not known just how partial the president's compliance will be. Most bets are that he's going to deliver some of the tapes in their entirety. Others may be edited with discussions which the president feels are not germane to the House committee's impeachment inquiry excluded. In some other cases, Chairman Peter Rodino's panel may just get written transcripts of the tapes, not the tapes themselves. Knowing that that would not satisfy the Judiciary Committee, Chairman Rodino has said that he will be satisfied with nothing short of complete compliance with the subpoena. President Nixon tonight is likely to strike out at some happy middle ground, or a middle ground that he thinks would be happy, selecting perhaps some mutually acceptable third party who would vouch for the authenticity of the transcripts and who would ensure that any areas which are edited out are in fact non-germane. Again, though, that is not likely to satisfy the Judiciary Committee, which has insisted all the way along on getting only the original materials. The president, of course, has until 10 a.m. tomorrow to formally comply with the subpoena. It is an unprecedented situation in which a House committee is clearly treading on what some constitutional attorneys regard as sacred executive territory. The Constitution, remember, establishes 3 separate but totally equal branches of the federal government. Each has a right to remain aloof from the other. The president, in other words, if he so chose, could probably duck behind the so-called executive privilege in refusing to even partially comply with a House committee subpoena. It would be a contest that would eventually wind up in the federal courts, no doubt the Supreme Court. And technically, even if the Supreme Court were to side with the Congress, the president could just challenge the court to enforce its ruling, knowing full well that the Supreme Court has no enforcement powers. You can be sure, though, that even though these options may have crossed Mr. Nixon's mind at one time or another, they have never been seriously contemplated. There is an element of politics in his present dilemma. An impeachment threat is breathing heavily down his neck. He must be certain, on the one hand, that in responding to the demands of a panel of the House of Representatives, which has been charged with the initial impeachment inquiry, he does not establish any precedents which would do irreparable damage to the doctrine of separation of powers. The president must be equally certain, on the other hand, that he does not go so far down the road of executive privilege that he waves a red flag in the face of a potentially bullish Congress, angering it to the point where, for sheer spite, it might remove Mr. Nixon from office. Well, yesterday, a jury in New York acquitted the 2 men who were at the top of the official totem pole throughout the Watergate scandal. The 2 men who, it was widely charged, were more to blame than any others. Charges of presidential guilt have always been conditioned on the degree to which Mr. Nixon may have known about or cooperated with men like former Attorney General John Mitchell and former Commerce Secretary Maurice Stans in their quote-unquote crimes. Well, after a long and heated and belabored trial, it turns out that a jury in New York feels that neither Mitchell or Stans did commit those crimes. They were not guilty of 9 charges of criminal conspiracy. They were not guilty of lying to a federal grand jury in connection with a secret $200,000 cash contribution to the president's 1972 campaign. With that court decision, the bottom literally dropped out of the case against President Nixon. How on earth could the president possibly be guilty of some criminal cover-up of a crime if a court feels that a crime was not in fact committed? Granted, the acquittal of Mitchell and Stans yesterday does not completely absolve Mr. Nixon. There remains hanging the questions of H.R. Haldeman and John Ehrlichman and others, whether they tried to cover up the story of Watergate itself, and if they did, whether their actions in turn were done with the knowledge and blessing of the president. But remember, even if they are found guilty of criminal conduct, there must be further evidence beyond reasonable doubt, that there was knowledge and blessing from Mr. Nixon before the guilt can be assessed to him. Nothing short of that could, in the wildest stretches of the imagination, possibly satisfy the constitutional requirements for impeachment. And if public opinion has any influence on the jurors in the impeachment procedure, and you can bet public opinion will have a tremendous influence since those jurors are all politicians, members of Congress, well, the verdict yesterday in the Stans-Mitchell case is likely to have a considerable impact. It demonstrated clearly that at least a few charges of corruption within the highest levels of the Nixon administration in recent years were unfounded charges, and the public is bound to wonder, if Stans and Mitchell were accused falsely, isn't it just within the realm of possibility that President Nixon has himself been the victim of equally false accusations? That verdict in this respect is probably the first really good news that Mr. Nixon has had since the Watergate era started, a long 15 months ago. These are the events that shaped the past few days. The events of the next 24 hours are likely to go a long way towards shaping the political destiny of Richard Nixon as a person, and with him, of course, the political destiny of our entire nation. They will be hours of great historical significance, great historical importance. Another key point in the Stans-Mitchell trial was noted today by the foreman of the jury that acquitted the 2 former cabinet officers. She said that she and her fellow jurors doubted the truthfulness of one of the major prosecution witnesses, former White House counsel John W. Dean III. Dean's credibility came in doubt, she said, when he admitted that he had pleaded guilty to a charge of obstruction of justice in the Watergate scandal, pleaded guilty in hopes of drawing a lighter sentence. Here in the nation's capital, Vice President Gerald Ford had some comments of his declaring that the jury's verdict in the Mitchell-Stans case, in the Vice President's words, says to me that John Dean's credibility has been severely eroded. It is John Dean, of course, who was the key witness against President Nixon. Indeed, when you get right down to it, he was the only witness who actually tried to implicate the president in any criminal wrongdoing at the Senate Watergate hearings. It is the same John W. Dean III who was slated to be a key prosecution witness in other cases which are still pending against other former high-level Nixon administration officials who have been accused of involvement in the Watergate scandal. You remove this John W. Dean III from the prosecution case, and that apparently is what the jury in the Mitchell-Stans case did, and all of a sudden you have a large sailboat with no wind in its sails. It's not going to go very far. Dean's credibility, rather his lack of credibility, was precisely what the Nixon forces hoped to establish, and apparently they have achieved that number one objective. From the Mutual Studios in Washington, I'm Fulton Lewis, and that's the top of the news.